Ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to the ETF2L Season 51 Premiership Grand Finals, where MANDEM have crawled their way back through a very long Sunshine game and not quite as long Granary game. Made it back to the finals after last night being upset by the Dirty Maggots. Sitting there in wait. My name is Wandem. I've got Samus with me running production, and then not Steven joining me on the cast tonight. Steven, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well this fine evening. I'm caffeinated and ready for a long one. Surely a rematch of the game we saw last night made it all the way to 3 maps, and yeah, we had some long ones. We definitely saw that infinite overtime coming into play, especially on Metalworks. So yeah, excited for this one. These teams obviously pretty closely matched up. We'll see if the match is as close coming onto this grand finals here.
Yeah, it's actually a repeat of the first two maps that we saw last night. The Process into Metalworks. Both teams picking the same thing again, but this time crucially around using the pick ban. That product map that MANDEM lost that final game of has been eliminated. So instead we'll be going to Granary potentially as our third map. But yeah, no Koth in this finals. I think besides that, pick ban kind of the same. Dirty Maggots had a choice to go to Bagel, chose not to. Instead fancying themselves that Granary game. And I think that really sort of speaks to the type of teams that the Dirty Maggots have become, right? This is a team that really likes to play it slow, by the book, and Granary just kind of seems to fit that playstyle just a little bit better.
Yeah, it's definitely the map that you can slow things down a little more on, especially last. We saw a lot on Metalworks that they just would refuse to push out. You kill 5 players, but the med libs you don't push out. And it worked well for them, right? They won the game, so obviously the playstyle does have some merit to it, reminiscent of that 7 playstyle of just never leaving last. And yeah, it seems like they've made that playstyle their own, and they're making it work so far. So we could be in for an interesting game, or we could be in for a fast one because MANDEM on the other side, they've been playing it pretty quick, pretty dirty. We saw them play the Ender Pearls, another very aggressive team, and especially on Sunshine, a very back and forth game.
Yeah, super back and forth on that Sunshine game. It did go for about an hour, but for a lot of that map, it was sort of really back and forth between the two teams. I think also crucially for me is like, yes, we saw that 0-0 Metalworks game that went into overtime, and finally, in those final little seconds there, MANDEM ended up losing it. But I think the crucial detail for me is they had like 4 uber advantage pushes to work with as well for that initial round that they just never quite managed to successfully get in with. They got like 2 or 3 drops on the Juxta as they tried to push forwards on that Metalworks map, didn't manage to convert a single one of the pushes. So in the end, it's Dirty Maggots to come up of that last series and winning the whole best of 3, having won a grand total of 4 rounds. And yeah, but I think for me the bigger story also is on Process. Like, it really did seem like MANDEM were just the better team. The Maggots had a little bit of control early on, coming off of bot mode on the sniper, finding a lot of picks onto June. But once that kind of faded, it kind of, we went onto the Maggots side, and we never really looked back to the MANDEM side of the map. I don't really know. Like, obviously they've had a day to think of some adjustments. We'll have to see if they bring anything like that. But really where the problem started for the Maggots were on those mid-fights on that Process. They were not very successful whatsoever. Haunts basically soloed a couple of mid-fights as well. I wonder...
Yeah, I think with Process in particular, it's one of those maps that you've played so much that even if you try to counter strat and demo review and look at what they do, it feels like it's so cookie cutter that you've played it so many times. There's very limited amount of new things that you can really pull out. You called out the bot mode sniper. He didn't bring it to mid, but was very strong using it to break those forward holds. But potentially, you know, we go back a little bit in time and we start bringing out the sniper to mid. It can work to if you catch people off guard, but yeah, you always have to worry about those soldiers. And yeah, as you said, the soldiers on MANDEM, very strong on those mids. So we'll have to see what the Dirty Maggots change. But yeah, it was honestly a very strong map for MANDEM. It was a 3-0 win, and they won it just outside that 25 minutes regulation time. So I think you'd have to favor MANDEM coming into this first map.
I think I tend to agree. Those sort of big problems that we saw from MANDEM really came in those second and third maps, where they kind of started feeling a bit disjointed. I think for me, a big story was especially on product. While you did see that Fancy had a very nice big damage stat at the end of the game, there were a lot of really crucial team fights where he just not quite synergized, or sort of caught up with the rest of his combo, ended up getting picked off a lot by the Dirty Maggots rather. Just managed to find that demo frag before the pushes would even start, get dropped off the Uber, and that makes it so much harder. Map-like product. So that gone. But still, I think the sort of determining factor of Fancy didn't quite have the series we might have expected from him on those second couple of maps. He had a really, really big play on the first map, sort of getting MANDEM the victory, but on those other two, I didn't quite see what I wanted from him. I think another big story for me coming into this game is I actually think over those 3 maps that we saw last night, it was, despite the heroics from Haunts map number 1 of Process, the other 2 maps, it was really KN and Jordy playing incredibly strong games.
Yeah, I mean, Jordy in particular had a lot of silly stuff, right? He loves that parachute. I think he's kind of been the innovator of that strategy, and he can really make it work. Sometimes he pulls it out in some interesting moments. We saw him, I think, twice pull the parachute out and try to sack it onto June, and she just arrows him down because he's just so slow in the air. But when it works, it really works. And coming into that product game, I feel like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, Jordy really turned up, was finding huge, huge impact, and KN was just absolutely bullying on the flank sometimes, just absolutely denying Ryan of all soldiers, which was very impressive. And yeah, I think maybe a little bit of mental boom coming out from the MANDEM, because they just looked a little lost, a little clueless on what to do and how to adapt. So we'll see if they can hold their focus for this series. Obviously, it's starting pretty late, 25 already at this time, so we could be going till midnight, no problems.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? Now playing with the extended time config is that I think it really does put an extra pressure on the mental, right? Like you're kind of used to, especially in Europe, conditioned to be playing for those 30-minute stints. And when you start going for that extra 10, 15 minutes consistently, they played an hour's worth of Sunshine earlier today. That really can start to weigh on you. You go for those very long hours. I think it's getting quite close to. I think it's something that we see and maybe don't talk about that much at LAN. But by the time you're done, this is, these are not professional players. They're not playing the game all day, every day. Some of them are playing the game a lot, right? But most of the people in the server, they have jobs, they go to school, etc. So those days where you are just playing TF2 for like 6-7 hours in a day, that was intentional, by the way. They don't happen as much. So when they turn up, brain might not be ready for it. And I think that might be some of what we're seeing here from MANDEM.
I don't even have to look into Twitch chat to know exactly what is being said right now. So yeah, thank you for that one. And yeah, definitely mental fatigue can be a thing. I think it's actually a bigger factor than people realize, because you are just constantly making these small last-second, split-second decisions constantly to try to play your very best. And if you're having to go past what you're used to, and you're kind of getting into that territory where it's a little bit messy, or you feel like you have to start making these plays, that's when things can go wrong. And I don't know if I would say the Dirty Maggots are better at that, but I think they definitely have the hive mind a little bit more from what we saw last night. I think it really takes some strong leadership and some very willing participants to play how the Dirty Maggots did last night. And maybe they have that little bit more resilience to play their TF2 at all times.
What do you think that this first map score is going to be, Stephen? Obviously, we're going to go live in about 50 seconds-ish, plus minus. Final little process prediction.
Yeah, so I mean, we spoke previously before about when these guys did play yesterday, and it was pretty much all MANDEM. There were definitely some spots of glory, but I think MANDEM just looks so strong on mid, and if they can close out the last pushes, I think they should take this. So similar to yesterday, I think the Dirty Maggots have been doing their reviews a little bit more, so I'm going to give them a round, but I think it's going to be a 3-1 man.
Yeah, I kind of think so too, to be honest. This was a map where MANDEM were looking just that little bit stronger last night. It wasn't until the second couple of maps came in that we really started to see the Dirty Maggots coming with a difference. And I think for me, the advantages that they did find was off the back of that bot mode sniper, right? And that's really nice for getting you that Uber advantage, but then just those pushes in onto last with a sniper, they just weren't looking all that good. See one on your screen at the moment, actually. There's a scout standing on top of him, and he's dead. But we are live once again. This is ETF2L Season 51. It's the grand finals here. MANDEM versus Dirty Maggots competing for who can stand at the top of Europe going into Poland 2025. / donate in the chat for that. We're live onto middle. Sam's firing the first sticky. No damage found quite yet.
Both teams opting to take it slower. No instant soldier bombs, no one going too high. It's a bit of a split push here. The side of MANDEM taking a little bit of space on both sides. Bombs do come in. It's blue soldiers activated here, both in deep or in their choke are the Dirty Maggots, but it's actually Ryan going down first. And here come the Dirty Maggots reaggressing over this point, but they don't want to give it up for free here on MANDEM. They do have that high ground. What mode denied? Juxta serves that out. How?
But he's so low. Look at how far back he has to sit and choke. And Zoe comes in from sewer, cleans up. But Majority with a return kill onto June is actually not that bad here for the side of Maggots, I say. But they are just 2 alive, 4 on the other side of MANDEM with Zoe coming in on the flank straight into Zams. He's going to have to do so much heavy lifting there onto Zoe. And he actually finds one pipe onto one scout. And so bot mode just kind of left alone. In on his own spawn, gets cleaned up. While MANDEM do get the mid-fight victory. Medics spawning at around the same time. No demo man up for the side of the Maggots, so they cannot contest mid. They should be able to hold on to second.
Yeah, they should be. Everyone's coming up about now. They're still playing it pretty far back on the Maggots here, but they're going to maybe peek and prod a little bit here on the MANDEM. They're going to see here that they are playing a little passive. Soldier Bomb should negate this initial aggression as the rest of the spawners do come up, so slowing things down a little bit. I want to go back to that mid slightly and just talk about the Dirty Maggots. They seem like they really want to just absorb those bombs, knew those double bombs were going to come out, and just wanted to kind of play to absorb the initial pressure and then try to come back in. Unfortunately, yeah, Juxta just gets jumped onto, gets taken down in the background there, and then not able to follow up the scout, just too healthy on the MANDEM side. But how do they want to push this? Looks like they're sending one in through choke and then the rest into sewers here, one.
Setting up at sewers for now, I assume looking for some kind of soldier sack play coming in. See a very aggressive Ryan actually sitting in IT. He's going to take a lot of damage though from the opposing soldiers, so drops dangerously low. That's his friendly scout taking that pack, so Zoe and Ryan both go down. Counts as an unsuccessful sack, so you can see MANDEM straight out of sewers, back onto middle. This is where Dirty Maggot's going to be looking for some kind of response. Looks like all that's going to mean is get space for Zams to set up a sticky trap in through choke as Geordie sacks forwards onto middle. Doesn't really find much of anything. So now 2 players spawning. I wonder. Zoe fancies himself a bit of an off-class. Looks like he's going to keep on playing Scout.
The spawner on Geordie is so long here. That's so much less spam on this combo coming into sewers here. This might actually be a really good opportunity.
Ooh.
It's actually a soldier bombing instantly in their haunts though. He's just deleted from the server. And they're going to lose a second as well. Ryan got a little caught there on his jump out.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good now for the Maggots. They have 2 soldier picks to work with. You see the positioning. Not quite there for MANDEM now. They have way less height control in onto this mid. They have no spam. So Geordie actually going to come in from sewers, but excellent job there from the blue scout to completely shut him down. He tries to aggress further. It is another scout shot dangerously low. Zoe hands back off to sewers. That means no height control. It's going to result in an Uber trade coming forwards. There's actually 2 frags been found for MANDEM. So KN and bot mode going down both. They're just going to take this trade in choke. Wonder if MANDEM can respond in kind. They have 2 picks to work with here. Not quite pushing through, but that's a Haunt Bomb in, and it's a Zams kill as well. Oh.
Yeah, Haunt and Ryan coming in doing absolute work. Zams caught out a little bit. There was a little cheeky flank scout of Zoe coming in from IT there. Came along and helped out. And now it is MANDEM pushing themselves onto last. They had the second cap. He's just standing on the edge of point. Is Zoe here, and they cap it out. Ryan jumps onto it, and it's an easy first round for the MANDEM.
Yeah, they try to take that fight on second. Unfortunately, MANDEM just in the post Uber take all of the frags. It's 2 up left on last, and so that means no one there to hold on whatsoever. MANDEM just storm forwards, cap the second. No shenanigans that we saw last night, where they kind of delay the cap of the second to keep as much round timer as possible. Just cap the point, run in onto the last. No one's there to deny Ryan, who just finishes off that cap after the scout. So back onto mid. Once again, sort of kind of a passive positioning here for Zams, unwilling. The soldier just sits on top, supporting him as well. No bombs are going to come through from either side, just quite yet. It's a high bomb now for the soldiers, just take a bit of space, but Haunt is the first one actually in the sky, just serving the situation. This is another soldier in IT. This might be able to collapse at some point, but Geordie's quite low in the high ground as well. Needs to get a bow up, neither side finding any kind of kills whatsoever. It is 1 kill onto KN, and now Jody falls as well. So no soldiers for the side of the Maggots, and actually just bot mode forced to go forwards as Juxta fancies himself a bit of June. Unfortunately, can't find the kill. So with just bot mode left alive, he's going to have to do it all by himself. He finds nothing, and that is a clean wipe on mid for Amanda.
It seems like Dirty Maggots didn't really know which side they wanted to commit to there. They were kind of rotating over to that right-hand side. A lot of fade bombs coming out from Geordie and AN coming in from that one, but not really able to get anything, and they just couldn't commit to that right-hand side because there really wasn't the pressure, and kind of just got a little crunched on from the right-hand rotate from MANDEM. They tried to meet them in the end, but the health is bad. There's no soldiers to really do anything, and yeah, I don't know. Just not really great mids coming out. It looks like not really on the same game plan for that mid. And now they're sent back to last. Huge dis ad coming out for the side of Dirty Maggots, and it is going to be MANDEM setting out, push out through 4 here. Well,
it's Fancy Elf taking the Uber in, and it's the enemy sentry gun taken down as well. So now it is early cap time coming out from Boulder there, who gets it about half cap by himself. And with Zoe just sort of the point, it has to be a sticky death from Zams. He's managed to find that kill. But with Jordy going down as well, Horns has so much control of this top area. Fancy for 2 is going to find so many frags. The collapse is coming in from MANDEM, and it is 1 soldier left alive. It is not enough. Fancy alone on the point is all that MANDEM needs. As the crunch just comes forward, Uber does get used, but that right there is MANDEM looking much more in control.
Yeah, looking like the MANDEM we expect a little bit more here. Been looking very solid on that last push, getting a soldier up into heaven as well. Took down Juxta, so they had no real staying power throughout that last bit. But you had to have someone on point because they just got so much cap time early on with those scouts, and they've been really good at that these last 2 rounds of just getting that scout pressure in and making sure that they have to commit, they have to take that fight, they can't just stand on the high ground. What do Dirty Maggots change on this mid?
They need to, I think they need to find some kind of bigger aggression. So Jordy's actually going to take a high bomb extremely fast onto the enemy pack. There's a lot of damage dealt here onto the enemy scouts, but Jordy's still the first to fall, and there's no position follow-up from the side of the Maggots. But this time around, MANDEM might have overstepped. There's a lot of damage. June with a huge bow there onto bot mode, leading the front of the Dirty Maggots offense. They can regroup, and now with just 3 players left on the point for the side of MANDEM, it is so hard for them to hold on. So you look at him. Hiding in this corner onto point, he's going to be looking to find some kind of a pick. Boulder also sitting still in choke. He knows that this trap can be activated at any point, and Zoe is still there. In onto the enemy demo. Sams takes so much damage and gets taken down. So that's Zoe now finding that kill onto the enemy demo. The Uber gets forced out of Juxta as well, and MANDEM have a massive advantage now.
Yeah, sent Haunts in at the same time there to try to find some Jordy coming in. Oh yeah, crazy damage from him. Does get taken down, but takes down that Uber advantage that they did have, and now they're having to play it very passively on MANDEM. They're giving a lot of respect here.
They're playing super far back because they know they have a massive disadvantage here. 2 players down, no one there really to contest. Zam's back up and ready to play with his team. So KN's going to bomb around a bunch, try to make space for his scouts to get forward. How the scouts or soldier bombs can come through, alleviate some of the pressure. It's a decent job of dissuading the Maggots from pushing further for the moment. But look at Juxta, already 80. 90% Uber here. We're looking to go back any second. June only 60%. See how far back MANDEM are sitting. Already in rollout.
Yeah, I've been playing it so unbelievably passively here. They want to try to take this for free on the side of Dirty Maggots here, and the MANDEM will accommodate that. Gonna get their Uber up for last though, so not the end of the world. Now Dirty Maggots has to try to push into this last point. Right now, though, they don't have a setup. This is a big differential. We see a lot of teams struggling to push when that full sentry gun setup is there, but Zoe is only just switched onto the engineer now, so at most going to have a level 1 or a level 2, so really now is the time to go, but they just have no information on where they're playing. Bot mode going in. Oh, that's definitely a sniper, surely.
Yeah, he goes in, Sax gets taken down straight away. I think this is kind of where you see a bit of a difference in the team styles, right? I know Witness love to go basically as soon as possible in onto those last defenses. As you're saying, there's no big sentry gun up in time. It's so much easier to push a level 1 compared to a level 3. But bot mode very much sacking in up on that sniper. Boulder, counter sniper in return, has been spotted out because he was spy checking as well in spawn. So bot mode in the past. Last time we were on this map last night, bot mode very effective at finding those kills onto June. Follow-up pushes not as successful, so we need to see something special here. Not running the same skin as he was last night. This is a different gun.
He got bullied for his pink sniper rifle last night in Twitch chat, so he decided to turn it off, but he is peeking in through 3 into the lobby area. But you have to think they are very good on MANDEM about playing around these sniper areas. No one really over pushes where they normally do, and it's actually Boulder finding that headshot onto bot mode. So gonna be no sniping now for the Dirty Maggots. They are gonna retreat. They are gonna play passive for the second while they wait for this spawner. Now, obviously, with this 4-minute round timer, I mean, that's like 2 less pushes, right? It's 2 less chances. It's 2 less spawn waves to get something going. how long do you really trust this snipe to get something? I mean, is Geordie also changing off onto the man treads in spawn? So we could just be seeing a soldier stack here instead.
Yeah, Boulder up on the spy. So once again, it's going to spot out the bot mode spy. Instantly swaps over to Pyro. Is that Pyro ready to deal with the man treads? Doesn't get knocked back in the air quite as much when you wear that gun, or wear those shoes rather, but you still take so much damage when you rocket jump. So I think it's going to be about man tread sack plus spy backstab coming out, but bot mode's going to have to deal with this Pyro playing all around the combo. You can see how difficult it is for him to get anywhere near the opponent, and Geordie as well. So hard to find an angle, so he's going to go in through 3 already, but just still, the gun does so much damage, but the pistol comes out. Single kill onto Haunts. It is a 3-man sack that finds barely anything at all.
Yeah, not able to do much. That Pyro spy check was just so hard for bot mode to really get him to do anything. He just called to his team, guys, I can't do anything. They're just spy checking for me. Fancy was ready, the Pyro is ready. There's no way he's getting a pick there, let alone onto that sentry gun for the sap and sack play they tried to go for. So once again, switching on to the bot mode sniper, but only about a minute left in this round. They really need to get a pick. They need to get something working. Maybe, to be honest, they just go for the trade, try to get that sentry gun out of the way, and then try to play the sniper in the post. Might be a better opportunity for them here.
You see Botman taking a buff, peeking through one, but the sticky's right above him as he inches forwards here. It's not the easiest angle in the world to actually find a pick. This is what you're saying, right? Mandem's setup is so hard. Botman really has to go for some kind of hero shot because there's only 40 seconds left. And so Geordie's actually just going to bomb straight in through June. And actually does a decent amount of damage. She's down to 17 HP and instantly ducks for cover under that dispenser. So heals her up to full. But that looks to be the extent of the MAGGOTS aggression. Not going for anything more. Just going to be bot mode in through rollout. And he just finds the shot, but there's 20 seconds left on this clock, Steven. They have to send it fast. They have a massive advantage, but 20 seconds!
You just have to go now, and you have to get some cap time on this point here. They're slowly getting these hills up, but June is going to be up, so giving these buffs could actually be a big advantage. Yeah, they finally go now. They have to start playing the points, though. There's stickies over everywhere. Zoe gets Geordie mid-air there with the crits as well. They have no cap time. 1 second remaining on the clock. No one's getting on it.
Oh.
And they fumble it.
It's such a massive advantage, but that play, you give that an extra like 30, 40 seconds, you have so much better time to actually orchestrate that, but I feel like MANDEM still, or Dirty MAGGOTS rather, they still had time to communicate that thoroughly. I think they were a little bit slow in that, to be honest. They should be much more ready to actually push in. It is such a huge shot there from bot mode in the end, and unfortunately just not followed up upon in time. Doesn't find any follow-up shots in through rollout, but it doesn't really matter, right? You need a scout on that point in that scenario where you know the timer just runs out, but they just don't get anything. So now back onto middles, we reset the round. Dirty MAGGOTS still without any of their own. And they're still up 2-0. So Geordie once again is going to high bomb just to make sure he can push across KN as well. It's best to deny the opposing soldier. It is Geordie in onto June, who tries to juke and jibe, but does not dodge the Geordie rockets.
Yeah, and now it is all men around Juxta here, trying to defend this man, as it's going to be every single player on MANDEM throwing their life away to try to get him. They decide not to push too far. They decide we're going to set up some traps. We're going to set up some spam here, some potential hiders. The health not that good, but it is the Dirty MAGGOTS coming in. There's a hider in IT, unspotted here. Could have a great opportunity to come in as the bomb does come through onto Juxta. Ryan not able to find that rocket, though.
And they trade onto Boulder as well. This is huge. A massive pipe, though, from Fancy Elf is going to shut down that Geordie aggression. So that is one player down. Slow down the MAGGOTS ever so slightly. They still have a massive advantage to work with, though. There are stickies up to the second point, but with Zams just running in through lower. This clock now, however, is ticking on the super advantage. They lose Geordie, which means they can't immediately bin it onto the loss of the same sort of acceleration that you might expect. You can see them still buffing up, still getting ready to go. Geordie's just going to have to come in the end. Uber's already popped.
Yeah, they know they have to come in here. Do pop in through 4, taking to the right-hand side, playing a lot of cap time coming out here. Soldier in a great position up top, going to spam down the heavy, but it's Ryan finding so many kills, so much damage coming up. But the cap, it's literally a millisecond of capping.
Zams! Oh, Zams is in as well in those final little seconds, but that heavy is just too strong there. And unfortunately, unable to take him down. They are so close to getting the cap, but they just can't find that final little conversion. See Af in IT trying to get a bit cheeky, so now Geordie's just going to try to bump forward, see if he can find any kind of angle. Backs off. We're all the way back to middle here. This is June now, big advantage. KN up on the sniper. Sitting in through choke and doesn't quite find the headshot. Doesn't find a follow-up either, so he's just going to have to back off in through sewer. As this is MANDEM, they're going to keep pushing forwards, but this Uber's popped out, and Juxta almost has of his own.
Yeah, Geordie in the background there managed to get in onto June there. Fourth is out the Uber charge of MANDEM here, so they are going to cap mid, but it's Juxta coming up with the Uber here, and it looks like his team already looking towards choke, still have that sniper in place, so they have to play a little differently, but that's a good start taking out Zoe there. No back cap threat here, and you see the rest of these players in front. You just need to take it slowly, get these bombs out of play, make sure you don't go in stickies. Oh my god, that was close.
Oh, and KN with a nice little headshot onto Boulder as well. Is going to completely shut down MANDEM off of this push. Ryan still trying to sack in onto Juxta, who survives on 40 HP. This has done a decent job of delaying time for June. He is going to be sitting there in one, building up with a scout, as the enemy do take control of second here as well. And this is where you start cursing perhaps a little bit that you have that sniper on KN, right? So much harder to push in without that second soldier. But look at Geordie. He's so far forwards and just completely shut down on last.
Yeah, one's go for that off-timing stack, see if he can get anything a little cheeky while they're not quite ready for the setup. June did not quite have Uber, so wouldn't have got the force, but maybe you get the cheeky medic kill before you're expecting it. You said you don't want that sniper of KN up, but I have flashbacks to last time I watched him on LAN getting a beautiful like 4K win on process as well, just playing it from 2. So this man can definitely hit some shots, and I actually think yeah, he has a good chance of getting something here. Bot mode also on the spy though, so doing some double shenanigans. It's a headshot in from 5 from KN, gonna open things up.
Opening things up, but he's still kind of only the initial door being opened, right? He still has to go for a sort of further peek to actually find a big kill that actually has impact. It's another one, though, onto Boulder. KN on fire. And while this man sees complete chaos inside of MANDEM, this is bot mode undisguising as he runs forwards undisguised. And the sentry gun just shoots him down. So now Geordie is through, but this spy play, unfortunately ineffective. They don't get the sap on the sentry, so the Geordie flank can't come in. But KN, he keeps connecting all of these shots. It's one scout still up, but with Ryan down, they keep leading these players on MANDEM. June flirts with the enemy, as that is so much damage. Cullen is still in. He's so far forward until last, finally taken down. But this is 3 players. So many sacrificed on both sides. Maggots back on second. MANDEM look to push. They still have an Uber here to work. They can go for this bot mode trade. Doesn't fancy it. There's no further assistance to be had from the rest of his team. Can back up on the soldier. Also going to be looking to hold this choke. Geordie, though, very far forwards in IT.
Yeah, surprised they didn't want to go for something more aggressive here. I talk about aggressive, and they're already trying to come in through choke on the dirty maggots, but back it out as Geordie does die, wanting to put some pressure in as their rumor, I guess Pocket actually, tries to go in for something, but not able to get anything this time. And as the clock ticks down, this timer ticks down, you want the dirty maggots to at least get 1 round in regulation. Obviously, we have that infinite overtime, so they're not down and out when the clock does tick down, but you don't want to make it any harder. It feels like they've had 2, 3 really good opportunities to kind of come in and try to get something working here on last, and just not able to thus far on the dirty maggots. And now, we haven't really seen them in this position of trying to push onto second, but I think MANDEM never make this easy. Going to be facing a lot of spam, and they decide it's the bot mode sniper time. Has worked well for them in the past. The past being yesterday, when he managed to get June twice from this. So setting up into sewers here is bot mode. Wait for someone to open the door for him. Can he get this initial shot? Sees Fancy. Does try to take a shot onto him. Not able to take anyone out. And now we've known fact that you have to think there's going to be so much spam coming into this door.
See how far back June is sitting as well, right? All the way behind the point, so there's just no way for bot mode to get in and sniper from that angle. However, he's going to have to rotate his aggression from Horns is in through choke alongside Zoe, as a lot of damage is dealt, but they're both cleaned up, so this Uber trade can come forward. Juxta has to flash that sniper, so this is a very weird trade happening in on middle, as Boulder gets to lead all of it. His team ushered forwards. This is now a full-on mid-fight, but there is no real height control for the side of the Maggots. It is Ryan and Boulder in complete control, as he can bump forwards and take down Juxta. So with no medic on the side for the Maggots, they have to keep backing off. They don't have positions to go for the opposing side.
That's really, really good stuff. I remember specifically in matching to... What's going on, man?
That's crazy. It's like a weird, like, delayed sack. They get June all the way down to 5 HP. Is about to yell about how she survived, but there's also a scout in, so salvage play comes through. But look at how many players they've sacrificed for that, right? If they don't find all of those other follow-up frags, that's a potential for a round on the side of MANDEM, who can just push off of the player advantage. Because they find both sides fall down, it kind of stays where it is. Uber disadvantage neutralized. So that means that the MAGGOTS now can sit up on their second. No harm, no foul. Still MANDEM up 2 rounds. We're about 4 minutes left of regulation, and the MAGGOTS have been on last once, but they haven't really managed to convert anything whatsoever.
Yeah, and they keep kind of losing these points one-on-one whenever they do go for some aggression here. Just hasn't been working out of them. That Uber through choke on Boulder is such a classic he used to do in Div 1 with his full Swedish team, where he would just, you'd have a sniper, he'd like take your sniper down low and just wrap around and come into you. But it's actually, yeah, Zoe finding a pick onto bot mode, so Dirty MAGGOTS tried to make their way in through choke a little bit, but shut down instantly by this counter sniper.
That's unfortunately bot mode kind of caught changing songs on Spotify in choke, as he just kind of stands a bit too still for the enemy sniper. Gets taken down. I don't think it's the end of the world, to be honest. It's gonna respawn. No real sack plays coming out for the side of MANDEM either. 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes on the round timer. Zoe now fancies himself a bit of a sewer play himself, and this is not an opposing medic sitting behind the point, as June had to learn the hard way that you kind of have to do. The scout peeking the corner as well. Spam onto sewer, but the shutter is still opened. Where's the angle for Zoe? No one really there to be found, so has the back off and bot mode of the defensive spy.
What is going on here? Why are we playing this much off class? And why is he this stuck in his own choke?
Where's he standing? Does he not just get spammed by everything here?
Apparently not. Apparently if no one baits himself here, they're just going to kind of chill and stay reloaded. But how do you get in here? You can't just walk for a joke.
What is the expectation? What is he trying to do? Surely you would try to go through like IT or something, right? It's just such a precarious situation. All the while, Zoe keeps getting to take pot shots. 170 damage there onto Zams. I'll force him to back off for the moment. So that's a very passive demo man. That just allows MANDEM to keep pressuring in through sewer. Gonna need a further bot mode check in a second. This Haunt actually sacks forwards, goes down in bot mode. There we go. Completely decided against the spy. Back onto last. I wonder what the thought process was. We're just trading in through choke.
Yeah, trying to trade through choke, but June is not using here. They drop Zoe, but I don't think that's too bad, as you're going to take down Af, and there's going to be no Uber used from the side of MANDEM here. Haunt's coming up soon. Dirty MAGGOTS going to try to bully their way forward, try to take as much space as possible, get these soldiers in position. It will be Ryan taken down. Finally, MANDEM do use this Uber chasing in choke, but they've actually done a really good job on the Dirty MAGGOTS of kiting this, and Sam's already ready to walk back in through choke here.
There's such an excellent flank play there, in from Geordie as well. KN with the follow-up kill onto Boulder. So this is only 2 alive here for the side of MANDEM. They've lost their medic as well. June not alive. And so Fancy Elf only 100 HP to sit on second. Chucks are free to build up a giant advantage here. Zoe going 20 for 8 at the moment. Incredible scoreline. Do not look at the Zams KD chat. I promise you it's not that bad. As there's a soldier going in, this is a serious grand finals. And we don't think about that at all.
Making their way in through second here, it's actually a massive Uber advantage, about 60% here. This is the chance Dirty MAGGOTS really need to get themselves around, get themselves on the board, get themselves some good positive mental here. Stickies all over the point here, so probably not going to be able to instantly play the gun, only going to be level 1 as it's in onto Zams. Uber through 4 here, gets that gun down instantly. Going to try to trap off this right-hand side area. Stickies are adept as well here, so these scouts more able to play onto point. But so much spam being dished out by these soldiers and Demoman. It's a heavy jumping down, and now's when we get to the scrappy fight. Kills going here, there, and everywhere. It's just a soldier in the background of KN, and it's just going to be Chuckster versus Round and 11 HP, and he wins it.
He's the only one left alive. On 11 HP, just finding some disgusting little directs there onto Juxta, who almost had him, to be honest. That was so close. Single bow away. But Ryan keeps his team in the round with bot mode now is up on this sniper. Trying to catch the enemy unawares, but look at that. MANDEM not fancying themselves a push out whatsoever. There are 17 seconds left. Regulation time. That means that MANDEM, if they win a single more round, they win this first map, MAGGOTS would have to take 3. Take this first map victory. KN's in rollout. Instantly gets spammed down. All eyes once again onto bot mode. Uber's somehow equal, but is bot mode winning the sniper 1v1? Does that open a door for anything? It's Horns getting traded off across here. Senju got taken down as well by just so much spam coming through from KN and Geordie. Bomber looking to take this angle once again in onto June. Was successful earlier, but this time a counter bomb from Ryan comes through, actually goes down. MANDEM are only 3 alive here. I think the Maggots might have found themselves something, because now Appa find a kill onto Zoe as well. The shot does not come through onto June, but Fancy's in the air and gets shut down. With that, Dirty Maggots just on the point, they clean it up and they are back in this.
We have ourselves a game here. So much work coming in through 2 there as well. Sniper peeks, and it was already KN, was already through 2 unspotted. Soldier tries to bomb in to try to get that sniper, but KN just follows up, takes him down, and then regroups with the rest of his team, and they just kind of steamroll their way onto Mandem's last, picking themselves up around here. But we are back onto mid. They do not have that positional advantage anymore. It's fast bombs coming in onto this middle point by KN, trying to get some initial damage here onto the MANDEM demo man of Fancy here. A lot of high ground space being taken by the Dirty Maggots, but no kills really going down. It's Ryan actually going to go down first. 2 scouts, and now MANDEM's positioning a lot more passive here, not able to get anything with their soldier, and they are just going to back it up into second. They know that they have nothing to lose by backing up here. They are still 2-1 up, right? They don't have to play anything aggressively. They don't have to make any silly mistakes, and I think honestly fine for them to find themselves on second here.
Yeah, they're completely fine with that. Ryan, unfortunately, just goes a bit too far aggressive. You can see the idea from MANDEM, right? Take those soldiers and send them super high up in the skybox so they can take all that space, secure height for their team, and then kind of play off of that. But unfortunately, Maggots really successfully managing to focus down Ryan. With him falling, Horn's not in a great position post-bomb. Can't really find anything further. They have nothing else to really commit onto the mid. They're all super far back as they wait for the soldiers to unsuccessfully take the space. Now even Ubers once again. You can see Jordy in through choke, taking 300. Bot mode up on the sniper once again.
I was going to say, you'll never guess which off-class we're seeing here is the bot mode sniper. But to be honest, both these snipers we've seen are managing to get a couple of picks coming out here. Can bot mode find an initial shot? They're just playing it so passively once again here on the side of MANDEM. They are just kind of expecting it this time. It's going to be Horns finding Geordie in choke there. Might open up a little opportunity. June scarily low though. He's on 30 HP during that.
I love that play from Zoe, by the way. Just barreling straight in through choke onto the sniper. No one's watching it because Horns is just bombed forwards. They find that kill onto Geordie. So now that allows Zoe to come in, neutralize the sniper threat. Jordy is going to respawn, and this is still 2 down for MANDEM, so the Maggots are going to be looking to peek this a little bit aggressively. It's actually KN sending a super deep bomb to the enemy side, but doesn't find much of anything at all. Zoe in the respawn queue is just going to check for the off-class. He's not going to find anything. Ryan just back in IT. Stalemate still alive. 2 minutes left on the round timer as well.
I think it's worth it in that position for Geordie just to try to go for the sack while there's 2 soldiers down. I maybe would have liked to see a bit more pressure. Take your demo man a bit more forward. Take some ammo from those scouts or take some eyes a little bit before KN goes in. I think they had still 6-7 seconds before those soldiers even came up. So definitely had the opportunity to try to go for more of a pressure play. But in the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. But they need to get something going. It's 2 minutes left on the round timer, as you said. And that 2 minutes can quickly go down. It's 2 soldiers. It's a whole combo in through IT. They managed to find Ryan here. So 1 less player on that flank point is going to leave it a little more wide open for the taking as they rotate back to choke.
They're going to rotate back to choke and try to use this numbers advantage to barrel in through choke. Probably just send a soldier sack in, but you can see how far Bolter just sits up on that height. It is KN with a super high bomb in through IT that he tries to duck back into, but Zoe, that immediate kill find onto him and shut the end down of that sack. Wants to try to chase forwards onto Zams. Doesn't find the kill. So now we're in a situation, right, where they did a lot of damage to June. Very far down on the HP bar, but don't find the kill. KN shut down. I wonder if MANDEM are going to be looking for a counter sack here.
They are playing it so aggressively on this pause. We can already see Fancy finding his way into choke here. And June is very much in tow as well. So they do look like they want to go for something. Maybe it's pressure. They do have 1 soldier of Haunt set up into sewers as well here. So could go for something once he gets a pack here. But they're already on the high ground on Dirty Maggots' side as well. It's really only Zams far forward. So I think June should be fine to come out with the pressure. I don't think there's really anyone who can take her down here, but yeah, MANDEM definitely going to want to pressure off this at least a little bit, try to find their way in here, but I wouldn't expect it to be more than a single sack, and then what's going to be about a minute and a half remaining for the Dirty Maggots to try to make something happen.
Any kind of point capture, of course, kind of swings the balance or sort of, resets the round time is the word that I'm looking for there. So they could just kind of give up the middle point. I'd be curious to see if MANDEM choose to take it. Probably, yeah, to be honest, right? It's a free mid-fight victory, effectively. Even Uber's on both sides also, so I'm just kind of looking to see what you can do with that singular pick advantage. There is one sort of half HP player in Haunts sitting in sewers. Might be able to find something. There's a pack waiting for him right behind as well. But it is a bit hard as a soldier, right? Bombing in blindly through sewers. Usually your scout's holding the high ground as well. Not the most effective position, but what you can do instead, trying to bomb the height, bombing behind, and getting it through IT. Of course, some mayhem there. I want to give a shout out to Zoe. I feel like Zoe has been doing such a good job this game of really just pressuring the flank super, super hard and making it so much harder for the Maggots to actually play this game how they want to.
Yeah, he has. He's constantly been there, constantly been a menace and a thorn into their side. And we saw him go for that one hider play as well on mid is one of the plays that really stuck out to me. Had a lot of trigger discipline, as we sometimes call it, right? To try to wait for those players. Managed to only get the demo man, but I think also got the force out when the soldier buddy did come in. And I think he's just been doing smart plays like that throughout the entire game, right? He's been finding the timings to come in onto the flank and to really things over, and he just hasn't been dying for it either. It feels very rare that he goes for these plays and he's dying. He's playing it very calculated, and yeah, his KD is showing that, and his 2 dominations are showing that even more.
That's the thing, right? Like normally we look at sort of the roles that he has on this team compared to Boulder, and you really would expect Boulder to be the one that's sitting at the top of the scoreboard with a massive KD, but Zoe just having such a super effective flank scout game. Really, really impressive. Topping the server at the moment, 23 frags, 11 deaths as a flank scout is very impressive.
But can they finish things up here? Obviously, for anyone uninitiated, for the playoffs, we are playing with that Banny config, that progressive overtime here. So essentially, either team can come back here. We are in this stalemate, as you might call it, until one team manages to get that 3rd round here. So can Dirty Maggots find 2 more, or can MANDEM find 1 here? And yeah, I mean, maybe Zoe deserves it thus far, but the Dirty Maggots been putting up a good fight, especially in this maybe last 10 minutes or so. I think they've been playing very well. We have a little bit of unpause lag, so shouldn't be waiting too much longer to see how this goes.
That of course stinks of a player disconnecting. You obviously can't fully join a server when the game is paused. You have to kind of do a pause, or an unpause pause, kind of make sure that everyone is in and happy before we start going again. But we have to remind ourselves. I do think, however, this is Maggots. They clearly have spent a bit of time on some demos because they are holding on a lot better than they were the last time around that we saw these 2 teams playing off against each other last night on this process game. This time, we've been spending a lot more time on the MANDEM side of the map than we have in the past.
Yeah, we definitely have. We've kind of been seeing from the side of MANDEM, if they don't really take those initial mids straight away, they're struggling to get into the game and get that momentum going quite as much, even if they do find a crucial pick. I think they did find a good pick onto Juxta, took him down, but then they're just getting in on Dirty Maggots onto June, when I think historically they've struggled in the past. They play very deathfully around June a lot of the time, especially with Boulder. Fancy, but yeah, June kind of been taken out a lot of times. Geordie finding a lot of hero plays in the background as well might be a bit of a factor, but yeah, Little One characteristic, it looked really, really strong at the start. I was like, oh, surely this is just going to be a sweep once again, but kind of since those first 2 rounds, like, I'm trying to think of any moments of glory they particularly had other than a sniper shot or 2.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right, to be honest. Like, this is a MANDEM, the setup for this MANDEM team is that they should be right there and ready to contest Witness. And this is a weird story of, like, because Witness aren't playing this season, it's a bit harder to gauge whether or not it's MANDEM kind of not quite playing up to the level that we'd expect for them, or if it's the Dirty Maggots, rather, really sort of punching up above their weight, really bringing it to MANDEM and playing at a level we didn't quite see them at in the regular season. I feel like it's a bit of both, to be honest. So MAGGOTS are looking very impressive so far. This is now Jordy once again just bombing in through choke, opening the door for KN, who wants to go forward but immediately thinks better of it as he sees the setup from the opponent. So now Jordy in IT, he could go for a bit of spam here. He's not going to go for any sort of actual peek because this is a very hard point to bomb.
Scout's getting so active in front, and it's going to be an instant pop-off here from the side of Dirty MAGGOTS, but June feels no reason to pop whatsoever. They are getting a couple of picks off in the background, so Zoe, Ryan, and Haunts going down as well there. So not the end of the world as they get free, but yeah, June holding onto that Uber is going to give them a big advantage here.
But she actually ends up having to pop it there in the final seconds of the fight. So now neither team really has, unless the HUD is broken. That might actually be what it is.
I think so. I can't quite tell. I'm
HUD being broken. But it's okay, because this is a stalemate. No one has Uber anymore. We're going back to mid. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they decided not to try to take that Uber and try to take it onto mid and do something cheeky, because they just didn't really have the spawners to come in, and I feel like Dirty MAGGOTS could have just come back through, kept that Uber advantage onto Juxta, and just maybe rolled it even harder. So probably the correct decision on MANDEM to just try to make sure they don't get in, don't go for any silly backhats, but not use that Uber advantage they did have. But yeah, once again, onto the mids. I feel like if we see a very aggressive mid here from MANDEM, it might be Doors, to be honest. I think it worked so well at the start, and you just got to rip it.
You see the early soldier aggression is going to come out a little bit later there as Horns goes for his signature high bomb up on top, scouting out the opponent, dealing early damage, but Ryan this time is sat and waiting for that soldier aggression to come out on IT, and he reads Jordy like a book. So that's the early aggression for the MAGGOTS, completely shut down, but Boulder, a lot of damage onto his pack. It is actually the MAGGOTS with control of the high ground for now. They have a soldier advantage to work with, and that bomb is going to come forwards, and now they're going to start shoveling the MAGGOTS back as they just sort of lack for positioning whatsoever. They're going to have to run out through their own choke. They're going to be rejoined by their spawner, but they just lost control of middle. It is even Ubers, neither team with a big pick advantage. Fancy's getting built up in choke, and I wonder if we might just be seeing a sack here.
Doesn't look like it. He's making his way into Seward's here, so I don't know, maybe just grabbing a little bit of ammo. Maybe they do want to go through something for his choke. I would love to just see a demo bomb. Just send it. Just why not? You haven't seen it yet, right? Catch them off guard. That's exactly what we saw Ryan do. Did something that he hadn't done, and it really caught Jordy off guard. Kind of played into his own playbook there and knew what he was going to do, a little bit of mind control. But they are setting up to go through this Al-Qaeda area with a scout once again on the side of MANDEM. Just going to be trying to poke and prod, see if they can get some health down from Juxta before they send any aggressive bombs in. It is Jordy sending that nice floaty counter bomb into with a confide, but the bomb coming in high here for MANDEM. Ryan not able to get anything there, unfortunately. Insta counter sack, I was going to say, coming in from KN, tries to find something in choke, but thinks better of it here.
So it's actually just the MAGGOTS sitting with a player advantage, unable to really get much from it. KN tries to send the early sort of frag. Oh, Samus drops down a little bit, and actually Horn stacks through. He's getting traded off as well. No off classes for either side for the moment. But look at Jordy taking a big buff, and was looking like maybe he wanted to go for a process rollout. I think better of it to sit back on second. Neither team really feeling the need to push out at all. So Jordy really rocking the true pocket KD of 3 kills and a bunch of deaths. Is really living the modern pocket soldier dream of getting to be a living flashbang for his team. All about the impact.
Hey man, Space Maid is not on the logs, and that man has done a lot of fade bombs in this game. He's sacked in a lot of times onto process second, and not had much come from it. But MANDEM are trying to make their way in, send a soldier into Al-Qaeda as well here, so slightly changing their outlook and how they want to play things a little bit, but unfortunately not really able to get too much hit. But it's Jordy coming round. It's a nuclear bomb here. June taken down to 50 HP, but no follow-up found. It's KN going down, but Zam finding so much damage as well, though. How are they managed to hold on here?
That is insane from June, but bot mode is in as well. And still June just refuses to pop. That is MAGGOTS sending everything in the kitchen sink to try and force out that Uber, but just barely not enough. June does not respect the opposing American team that tries to go forward. So now, back onto loss. It's still even Ubers, but there's been no time for a setup. Boulder tries to go in, is instantly shut down. The KN aggression is going to come in onto Fancy, and suddenly you lost your demo man as well. June is all the way back in choke.
Yeah, they find 3 here. This is really big for the Maggots. Minimum, gonna get themselves second. They're gonna want to stack things up here. Try to deny these spawners 5 seconds until Fancy and Ryan come in. And they are denied. They are back spawned here. This is doors wide open, but you need to be careful of this boulder trade here. It went so well for them the last time they're in this situation. They need to make sure the same doesn't happen this time. But everyone's back up on Mandem. They're all ready for this fight. Boulder, though, found from Geordie. That's huge stuff coming out.
That's
but now
insane! He finds everyone! The Uber's gonna come out, but that is disgusting from Geordie. The unbelievable long-range rockets there onto both June and onto Boulder, and unfortunately just milking for a little bit too long. So Ryan is in behind the only savior to try and find some kind of X factor for his team as they are squarely pushed back onto their last. This is Juxta with a big advantage, and you can see Mandem doing their utmost to build up this Uber as fast as they can. Juxta sitting at about 50%. June right there behind him. They actually managed to hold on to second. Maggots not in time, but with Zams running a kill into Haunts.
It's a play coming in onto Juxta. Zoe just runs him through IT and gets straight onto Juxta. That's the hero play that the Mandem needed right now.
It's such a huge play for Mandem.
Doing the same thing though.
They're trying to go in. This is all-out aggression. We've been sitting still for so long, and finally we're moving. And unfortunately, this Ryan pick is not going to mean much for the Mandem side. They don't find anything, and they keep bleeding these players. Boulder goes through these shutters, gets instantly shut down, and so now we're 4 players up on last. You can see this Uber in the hands of June. Massive advantage as well. Fancy wants to take this forwards, but there's players all around. Sitting in IT, they're ready to push into lobbies, and Zoe has to do a lot of work just keeping this point capped, making sure that no one can come in from behind. It's actually an early kill into bot mode as Geordie's actually in behind as well. He's going to go on to last, and there will be spawners there to try and fight him. He hits a beautiful rocket onto the first soldier, but he cannot convert the frag. So with only Haunts going down, you're back onto second. KN is up on the sniper, but June didn't pop there at all. They can send this onto middle. And KN needs to deny this as they walk in through choke. He doesn't find that first shot. June is so far back, and she's not willing to cross that line. He can see the medi beam, but he's just back onto second, and Juxta almost has an Uber now.
Yeah, 80% on Juxta. They've managed to reclaim a lot of Uber percentage from that sniper play. Honestly, just they had to play a little more passive on Mandem. Didn't want to pop through here. Will be getting now, but Mandem, they want to keep this aggression going here. They want to keep trying to make something happen. Fancy peeking his way in. It is the Haunt bomb coming into Al-Qaeda. We saw this previously where he would go a little more aggressive here. Try to get those stickies away. See if they can find any little cheeky picks here. Do find some damage onto the scout here, and it's given a lot of space for Fancy to come in.
Fancy has so much room to work with, but he's not finding the damage. Instead, he is the one getting down, spammed down so low in sewers. Gets caught out by Geordie. So now without a demo man, the Maggots have once again a reason to move forwards in onto middle. There are no stickies to worry about. Zams is getting pelted. These soldiers are on high ground doing their best to emulate the demo man damage, but Zams could just do so much more. Fancy's still not there on mid, and so that means that Geordie can follow up and find a second, as there's now a trade happening in on towards this point. It's Boulder leading the charge for now, and that is an AF that wants to keep leading his team forwards. A lot of damage dealt onto Mandem, but no kills found. So they're going to have to settle for the point for now. Even Uber's still, Ryan is going to be spawning. That might be the end of it.
Yeah, huge crunch coming in there again from IT. Just really managed to come in for the Dirty Maggots at just the right time to pressure them back over that point, and then they had a really nice trade. The soldier that was on the flank had to jump out. Luckily got a flash by June when leaving there, but just allowed AF to chariot things forward there and take the, kind of second or two more that you do gain advantageously from not having to flash there, and allowing Dirty Maggots to make their way in, exchange those Ubers. Gonna be building things back up on both teams. Didn't want to go for that off-timing sack here, so once again gonna be Dirty Maggots' attempt to try to come in from mid on to second. They've been sending a lot of just like soldiers in, like sending one soldier in as a fake and then coming in for another one. Do they change something up here? Do they try to snipe? That's been a couple times I said, do they try to snipe? Obviously they do, because bot mode is up on the class, peeking his way in through choke here. What can he find? Initial shot doesn't find its way onto Fancy here, but should know he's up on it now. Should have spotted him out there. He's going to rotate his way into sewer, taking this slow peek here. But they just play it so passively on Mandem. They know exactly how to play around this. It feels like you need to take that really big angle, take that very aggressive shot. It's Ryan going down, though, on the flank there. Can they find something off of that?
Bot mode with 50 damage onto a soldier. They don't actually manage to find any further kills, but this is a massive angle for bot mode. So you can sit in sewer and take a couple shots. Don't quite connect. But with that Ryan pick, it means that Jordy can start playing very aggressively here in onto enemy IT, and that is a lot of pressure coming out. So Haunts is forced to bump forward to alleviate this pressure. The Maggots are beginning to amount onto their opponents. Keep allowing bot mode to go for these pot shots. Any kind of pick now becomes an opening. But bot mode's going to have to keep trying these different angles, now sniping from the top of point. But June's still so far back. All of MANDEM sitting behind the protection of that point. So instead, the answer is going to be this IT pick. Soldier Spam's already here. There's a scouting through lower. Doesn't get headshot. So they spot him out once again. All eyes on the singular bot mode sniper to be the difference maker. 2 minutes are left. Round timer. He needs to start hitting one, but obviously you keep rolling that dice. Gonna hit a 6 eventually.
They just play it so regimented on the MANDEM side. They're just not sending anyone anywhere close that matters, right? That is going to find a headshot and just completely eradicate any chance they have of surviving. And you have to think, how long do you keep trying to play this game? How long do you gamble? Because you've only got a minute and a half left on the clock here. As it's a fight in through choke. It's Haunt winning it onto Jordy there. It's being a real menace. It's cleaned up by App and KN coming in, but it's opened up the flank a little bit. Some pressure coming in from MANDEM in IT. Ryan decides to back it out though. Well, bot mode retakes this angle. Doesn't see anyone, but kind of do just want him to go through IT and just try to go for something crazy. I don't know what else is going to work for him.
At this point, there's a minute left, right? Even if you get the hero shot, you need time to follow it up afterwards. So yeah, I think you're 100% agree. He needs to go for something now. And honestly, you're going to have to settle for some kind of consolation prize, right? June is just not presenting herself at all for bot mode. So as he keeps going for these shots, we now start running out of time here. Sitting on second, and it is just going to be a Hail Mary trade coming through onto June as she gets forced out as well. So App is going to be keeping on to try and make as much space as he can for his team force all the way in behind. But this is the Maggots. They're not really in. App is in on his lonesome in through lower here for the moment to try and usher his team forwards. As now it's KN and Jordy that can bump through. It's a massive rocket from KN in onto Ryan as well. And so suddenly they found 3 kills on both sides, but it's Haunted behind and a demo man up for either side means that this is just KN who keeps hitting airshot rockets. Haunt is shut down from a bow from Juxta. 2 left alive onto this point now on last. Come up in 2 seconds. Dirty Maggots don't quite have time to push this. They just need to take this second, and they manage to somehow just barely wrest control of that second point.
Yeah, the long, drawn-out fight there, and Dirty Maggots reset that round timer as they do cap up the point and to give themselves 4 more minutes there. The Hail Mary trade worked. Aff was in behind, got a lot of work done. Nice air shot coming in from KN as well to kind of win out his fire and the rest of Dirty Maggots. Able to come in. I mean, that being Zams and Juxta, but yeah, a lot of kills found just during that fight going the way of the Dirty Maggots. I think that was the right play, just to try to go for that, and they had a bit more success. We've seen June previously just hold on to those Ubers, but not able to this time. Bot mode still up on the snipers, still trying to find something, as both teams do have 100% Ubers once again. We did see him find it before, right? He came in through 1, found that shot onto June. Can he do a similar play again?
Needs to find something fast, but he's going to have to deal with the counter sniper of Boulder as well. Pink sniper rifle makes its return as it goes in through 1. This is a bit of an aggressive angle. June is protected by the sentry gun dispenser, so she stays alive for the moment. It is Jordy sacking in the meantime and just gets taken down. No force can come out onto this medic. So price is averted for now from MANDEM. The dispenser serves its purpose as June just sits crouched inside it, and unfortunately the shot does not connect.
That was a scarily close shot coming out from bot mode here, but they're surely not going to get an opportunity like that again. They're going to be so wary of this sniper shot coming out for something heroic here. And yeah, as you said, Boulder sniper is someone you have to worry about. I think he's been on the receiving end of more headshots this game so far, but you can never count him out. And what do you kind of do after this? They look like they are on the man treads here on the soldiers, at least on Jordy here. So going to be going in, taking a lot of eyes out. Yeah, gets the force out of June, so did exactly what they needed to. But with a sniper up, they want to try to push forward here on MANDEM. It's a bomb coming into Juxta here. Can't find that second rocket though.
They're still 3 down though. They have to play this so far back here, as they're just out of second completely, right? They don't have the spawners yet to try and contest this. See MANDEM likewise not fancying themselves a fight on second, so they're going to back off onto last now. They still have this Haunts down as well for another 5 seconds. MAGGOTS. Now you have the ability to time this game, to tie this game right up. 100% on Juxta, but you have to start going. June is already 70% Uber of her own, so in through 4, this Uber comes straight away, and the gun is instantly taken down. Now Zams can come bump forwards, and they need to try and take care of this heavy, as he's done so much heavy lifting for this opponent. As Bolter actually taken down already, the point is about half capped, and the crunch comes forwards. Zams, Geordie are finding everyone. Everything crumbles for the MANDEM side, and MAGGOTS, somehow, some way, are tying this game up to 2-2.
Yeah, finding their way back into this game by some miracle. And they are tying up 2-2, and now it's just 1 round to go. Who can take this final round to take this first map of your grand finals here? They've made it so close. They're even checking the off classes on the side of Dirty Maggots. They don't want any shenanigans to happen here. They've been playing it so well here. Can they find it? Can they upset on this first map? We'll have to see on this mid.
So far, once again, I think Haunts has kind of gone for the same thing every single time of that sort of high bomb, but Geordie this time around, once again, so aggressive onto the enemy's side. KN with that beautiful rocket completely knocks Haunts off kilter. Ryan has successfully managed to infiltrate the enemy IT, and from there he plans to launch his attack. It is the MAGGOTS forced into a tiny choke point, but it is Zams finding the pipes onto Ryan and onto Haunts. So with both of them going down, there is no MANDEM presence whatsoever. They're stuck on the opposing side. Spot side for the moment, but Geordie's in on the high ground. There's 2 scouts looking, staring right at him. No further aggression coming in. Geordie can bomb forwards, but this is MANDEM in a scary situation. Bomb mode spawns. We've managed to glide right back to our own sides. And wow, that's a huge rocket from KN actually onto that scout. So very low. And he has no position. Geordie's in behind. He's trying to crunch in onto June and manages to find the pick. So June now doesn't have an Uber. Juxta has one to work with. Zams is hitting everything.
Just finding the shots when they're needed. And another one found by, oh my god, this is a haunt there. Disgusting stuff. Jux that has to use, but you don't care because you wiped the entire team of MANDEM here. June going to be spawning now, maybe going to have some scouts, but they want to bin it here on the side of Dirty Maggots.
They're going to bin it right in. Zams is already there, sticking up this point. And because June has no players spawning with her because she died so early, this is an even Uber situation. They're all stuck in spawn. This Pyro has to do so much work, but there's just so much cap time on the point. The Soldier Bomb is going to come through, but Horn's taken down now as well. You just have to touch this for the briefest of seconds if you want the MAGGOTS. So Zams is going to reload, sticky up this point. They have one final push in them. There is not a heavy up. They have to rely on the Pyro, but Zams can find stickies instead as he runs onto the points, and MAGGOTS with the upset victory of the enemy map pick. They take process, and they respond in kind.
Crazy stuff coming out from the Dirty Maggots. Just playing that ring around the rosy mid to perfection there. And then that last point, they just did such a good job there. Binning it onto last when the spawners do come out. You don't over-aggress. You don't try to instantly try to push them all the way back. You regroup. You get your demo man healthy. You get your soldiers healthy. And it really came to fruition there. Just so much damage coming out from KN, Geordie, and Zams as well there. Yeah, as you said, take the enemy's map pick. We saw it was a 3-0 win to MANDEM just yesterday on that map. And while it was a nail biter, they really had to fight for it on the Dirty Maggots. They do win it out, and they're going to Metalworks, a map that they won yesterday in an interesting fashion, Wan.
I really want to give a shout out to the Maggot soldiers there. They really came in alive, especially in overtime, right? Geordie had such huge, impactful plays over and over and over again. KN is hitting absolutely every shot as well. He played Process for 40 minutes and has a positive KD. With the year of our Lord.
Yeah, man, he just gonna be doing that sometimes. He was hitting some really nice rockets.
Yeah.
I think 2 fights he just won because I think that last mid fight you can say he won it, right? A couple of those rockets as they were rotating around just hits crazy directs to completely deny a soldier and a scout, and then won that second point fight as well to get them their round to make them draw. So yeah, crazy stuff coming out from KN. We shouted out Zoe, but I think KN would be the MVP for Dirty Maggots there.
I want to give a shout out to Geordie as well, right? Obviously, he's sitting quite low on the scoreboard overall, but the picks he did find were insanely impactful, and I think a lot of his deaths are as a result because he's the first one in, right? He really is that flashbang for his team. He's the one bombing in first to set up the space for KN to go in afterwards. So KN's obviously the one that's alive in sort of the late pushes, the late fights. That means that he's the one finding the frags, but Jordy doing an insane job setting up his team. And is this the point where we really start to get worried for MANDEM? Because this is their map pick, and they were looking so confident on it last night. You lose that as well, you're going onto a map like Metalworks, where they were stuck trying to figure out the enemy lost hold for over 30 minutes, never found an answer, managed to blink it away in the final seconds. This has to start weighing on your mental.
Yeah, 4 advantageous pushes failed during that as well there. Not what you want at all here. And I didn't even realize June dropping 3 times on that map. That's a big deciding factor. That's very unlike June. We very rarely see her dropping, but kind of being a little outplayed by Juxta, was barely dying. That combo of App and Juxta was looking super, super solid. They were playing reasonably aggressive, but they were really doing a good job of absorbing that damage along with Zans. Won them quite a few fights there. So, yeah, talking about Metalworks, I feel like MANDEM, they won every single mid. I don't think there was a single mid that we saw Dirty Maggots win. Even when they did win, they got pushed back onto last and then went from second to mid to their second and then got the last push, right? They did the coast to coast. But MANDEM would look so strong if they've just like demo reviewed this, seen how they set up, and they're like, okay, guys, here's what we need to change. Because it didn't feel like they were ever too far, but there was always some shining light on Dirty Maggots, keeping them in the fight, and they were really struggling sometimes getting in with those sacks to make something happen. So maybe they find something a little more for that now they know where the medic's always going to be playing or something like that. But it's worrying because they really looked like they were happy just to stay on last on the Dirty Maggots. And that game plan worked. And I'm sorry, Twitch chat, but I don't think they're going to change their playstyle. I think it's going to be exactly the same from Dirty Maggots, where they're just going to spend those 4 minutes on last. They're not going to push unless they drop June.
The problem is for MANDEM's side, right, is it's clearly getting to them. This playstyle, last night they were constantly in Twitch chat complaining the whole time, and that just plays into the mental advantage that the Maggots are building against this team, right? They've managed to now come back multiple times in grueling, long, slow maps against this team. And that has to give you such a massive mental edge coming in onto this map that you've already won in the past. I will say, however, the big caveat for me is, to be honest, I feel like last night it should have been a 2-0. MANDEM had, despite, the fact that they did lose in the end, there were multiple times where they managed to get off clean sacks onto Juxta, not only get the force, but the kills sometimes as well, and then just managed to fumble the pushes afterwards. And I think if you spend a little bit of time, as you said, just focusing up, figuring out how they want to execute those last pushes, they would be feeling quite good about themselves on this map. The question is for the Maggots in return, have they spent any amount of time thinking about the mid-fights that they want to play? Because those were bad.
Yeah, they were a little bit rough coming out of here. They just had no solution for anything that MANDEM would do. It just felt like the soldiers had complete free reign to push back the Dirty Maggots combo. And, while they weren't always losing their medic of Juxta, he was managed to get out a lot of the time. They were getting nothing else. They were sending double bombs in, maybe getting 1 or 2 kills, but then the rest of MANDEM just comes in and cleans up shop, and they just have to leave. And it just looked like a bit of a nothing burger here. So, yeah, I think it does come down to those 2 factors. Can MANDEM figure out those last pushes? Can they find a hole in the Dirty Maggots defense? And can Dirty Maggots turn it up a little bit? Because we've not really seen them outside of last at all. Like, we do not know how this team plays when they're pushing into second, and we've only seen them pushing into last once. So it's kind of, interesting to see how these guys play. I don't know how much time they've really had outside of the server on Metalworks as well, if they played much in season, but I don't know, man. You've got to just kind of lock in on the Dirty Maggots, because I don't think Lightning is going to strike twice. I don't think you're going to get away with murder as many times as they did last night.
I think we really need for MANDEM, for their soldiers to start playing a bit more, sort of get a bit more into the game. I think, especially towards the end there, we said it already, right? Jordy and KN were just kind of outplaying them every single step of the way. Horns was looking very good at the beginning, I think. Excellent job sort of initiating the mids, but once Maggots kind of found out how they wanted to solve those MANDEM mids, there kind of wasn't a response, right? Felt like they had one gear. I think uncharacteristically, like, to be honest, super quiet map from Ryan. It really feels like Haunts is, for me, those last two series that the MANDEM have played against his Dirty Maggots team, Haunts has just been the better soldier compared to Ryan, who's supposed to be the best soldier in Europe. I think if you ask a lot of the players in Twitch chat, some of the experts as well, they'll all tell you that actually it's not Pappy, it's not Silentes. Best soldier in Europe is Ryan, and I think he really needs to start playing like it if he wants a Premiership victory here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It's kind of the name that's always on your tip of your tongue when you're thinking, oh, who should we be praising a lot? Who should we be seeing consistently making these plays to get his team in these good situations? And you think of Ryan a lot, but I don't think we mentioned his name once. And I think I agree. I saw Haunts do more impactful plays. Obviously, Ryan is still finding plays. I do remember once he won a really nice fight for his team, but it's kind of, that's it. That's all I think of him. So yeah, maybe he wanted to step up. And Boulder having maybe an uncharacteristically weak game as well. I mean, a few of his Ubers were really, really nice, but he kind of couldn't get engaged. Other than that, I think maybe that's more of the way Dirty Maggots were playing. It was a little bit to counter the playstyle of just the solo scout. They were doing a pretty decent job of that, of just kiting their way out, not letting him just get a free 2k, not just feeding a soldier in. But yeah, he was quiet, and then June, obviously, with the free drops is uncharacteristic from her. So I feel like even if you do clean up these things, though, I feel like you've still got to say MANDEM are favorites coming into this map.
You would hope so, right? This is where you're really, if you want to be the best team in the world, if that's your goal, right? This team exists because they want to win Poland. They want to show that they can beat Witness. They want to show that they can beat the Americans. They're also going to have to beat this Dirty Maggots team if they want to be called the best team in the world. And to do that, you need to start building up that mental resilience. I feel like that's where we're really seeing them lack, is in those very, very long maps that they kind of just start crumbling. They were, in the beginning of that process game, looking so much stronger than the Maggots, right? They came up 2-0 in about 10 minutes, and then everything just kind of started slowing down for them. It's about maintaining that momentum, finding a way to get the ball rolling again if it ever stops. Maybe that's the sort of inexperience of having been in many of these situations before.
I mean, you say not many times before, but how many finals have they actually been in, man? Like, we thought they broke the Choker's curse. They looked so good a couple of seasons ago. And now it's been, a lot more competition coming in once again and making things maybe a lot closer than you think on paper. But maybe it's just the Dirty Maggots have improved. Obviously, when these guys did play, it was week 1 initially, right? And it was just a MANDEM sweep, I think 5-0, 5-1. Like, it was a pretty closed case about, MANDEM just looked better. But kind of as we've gone through these weeks, I feel like Dirty Maggots found their stride a little bit. Maybe bot mode struggling at the start coming onto this team, 100 ping. It's very weird. It's very different to kind of have to play in that environment and playing in the slow environment of the Dirty Maggots as well. This is the EU playstyle. Maybe just weren't on the same page, but looking at yesterday's game, looking at how they played, this team is on the same page, right? They have that leader in Jordy, and everything he says goes, and honestly, it's working well for them. Kind of punching above their weight a little bit, I'd say.
Yeah, everything's going right for them at the moment. And I think there's an important factor, I think, that I just kind of realized is the last time these two teams played was in the AFS season, where it was a MANDEM team that was supposed to be heavily favored versus a Dirty Maggots team that actually ended up taking that finals victory as well. A bit of a different roster on both sides, obviously, but very strong regardless. Some sort of congruent players coming through it as well. But ultimately was Dirty Maggots coming in for the upset victory in that Prem finals as well. Perhaps looking to repeat history here on Metalworks. But still just kind of, taking a bit of a break on the players' side. Making sure that they're all good to start in onto this Metalworks game. And I think I agree with you, Steven. My expectations for this is that the Dirty Maggots do not like aggressive TF2. They will not like aggressive TF2. I think we're going to be sitting on points for a very long time here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a chilled game here. I think I might be putting my seat back a little bit, putting my legs up for a second, just taking it a little slow. But maybe we're completely wrong. Maybe the Dirty Maggots have a bit of a different gear that we haven't really seen thus far. It feels like, they're that calculated team. They like to take things a little slowly, send in those sacks, try to make things happen. But we have seen flashes of them just going a little bit crazy I mean, KN finding a lot of stuff going well and Naf winning kind of a lot of fights maybe you're not expecting him to potentially. So always something to worry about. Obviously, these teams, they may have a playstyle, but there's so many different ways that they can decide to play if they want to. They are obviously diverse players, a lot of experience, a lot of different things. But I'm also expecting the sniper. Who was your favorite sniper that came up that game?
It has to be bot mode, right? Actually, no. It was KN, obviously. He had that crazy spree of getting like 5-6 kills there to open the door. The first 30 maggots round, really just hitting everything. It's so weird, right? Because I don't, KN's a very typical sort of soldier player. You wouldn't expect him to have that pocket sniper, but it's actually turned out to become quite effective. I feel like you see a lot of soldier mains who kind of like setting themselves up a bit. They fancy themselves, maybe a bit of a jukebox. Like that sniper off class, you play it in pubs, start feeling yourself, maybe even in some pugs. Actually take that, become a very deadly sniper on a soldier is such a scary attribute for a team to have, right? Obviously, it's bot mode, there's going to be sniping the majority of the time. But if the situation calls for it, KN being able to do it as well, that makes it more scary to play against this team, I think.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we've seen that moments of glory multiple times from him. He definitely has it in his repertoire. He's one of those players that you can just kind of rely on. But I don't know, bot mode it's so storied on the sniper. In America, he played it near permanently for one season, right? You would see him basically pull it out more than 15 minutes each time. Obviously, we saw that with the engineer yesterday. I had more time on the engineer than the scout. I really do not want to see that again.
No.
But yeah, Ken kind of just shone on the sniper that game. Bot mode not really finding too much, but enough of the tournament. Back into your tournament. This is the second round of your ETF2L 6v6 season 51 grand finals here. It is going to be Dirty Maggots on red and Mandem on the blue side. Take us away, Wen.
Not to middle. Zam's not quite hitting the roll that he might have wanted. So the pack ends up having to save him from a little bit of damage. So far, both teams sitting back. You can see setting up for the soldier aggression, but his bot mode instantly taken down by Zoe onto the mid fight. That allows Haunts now once again to bomb super deep far forward. And that is a mid fight victory and a half for the side of Mandem. 3 picks already, and this is a Maggots rather, forced to retreat all the way back to last. Just building up this Uber. He's gonna have it onto the last, but Mandem leaving us right where we left off.
Yeah, so what? Here we go again. Comes in instantly in chat from Fancy. We've been here before, ladies and gentlemen. I think a bit of a mistake was losing KN there. He tried to run out and escape, but didn't get anything as Geordie tried to go in for an off-timing sack, but just instantly found a scout into his face, so not able to do too much. Engineer going to be moving up his buildings, and now we have the last hold. Geordie was on is still on the parachute here, so going to be jumping up into main with that a lot of the time and just trying to catch out anyone overextending into that main area. It's kind of played that, but Sentry Gun getting spammed down by Haunts instantly here, so it might be the opportunity to try to come in like something. A lot of aggression on this right hand side, and it's Haunts in trying to get his way onto Juxta, not able to this time, but yeah, they're already getting some opportunities.
I really like that double bomb from Haunts. Unfortunately, Juxta's just too fast with it. Ducks into the cover of Spawn and is completely uncontested by those bombs. You can see Maggots in their complete unwillingness to actually go for any kind of a counterplay, right? They just sit back, all 6 on last, and they will refuse to do anything. So once again, Mandem now, you have 3.5 minutes to crack this last hold. They spent quite a while here last night, ended up fumbling it. Have to see whether or not the overnight rest has done anything for them. They're just going to kind of sit into lobby for the moment, right? You see Haunts bombing forwards. Ryan taking a buff as well, but no one really going forwards. I think this is just going to be another soldier sack, right? You can see them both taking a buff, getting ready. Ryan looks to lead that charge.
Yeah, soldiers come in here, trying to get up. Ryan going for the high bomb here. Is going to find his way onto the medical. Juxta doesn't have to use there. Got some balls of steel coming out from the Frenchman as they try to send a little bit of aggressiveness into lobby through KN. Not able to find anything with that one, so we're just going to chill for a second. Wait for these soldiers to come back up, see if they go on to anything different here. They've been really, really good about just constantly checking what's coming up on this Dirty Maggot side. Every single time a sack comes out, one player is ready to go back into spawn and check those off classes here. It looks like they were doing the same here on the side of MANDEM here, but gonna be sticking on that double soldier, double scout cookie cutter setup for now. Manfred's out on Ryan at least.
Manfred's up on Ryan, so he's going to be looking to set up that play. So a little bit of spy checking there between Haunts and KN as well. As both of them kind of spy checking and I assume finding each other. Sat there waiting for one person to give up. Such got instantly actually spammed down by Haunts once again. Ryan on the man-tread, so he's going to bump forwards here. This is now the parachute coming forward. Teleporter is taken down, but that unfortunately is just not the frag you want at all. Fancy quite low, down to 9 HP as well, so that is the MANDEM. Forced to back out for the moment, but they're just going to keep sitting back. Now it's a minute and a half left on the clock. So far, MANDEM, 0 successful answers to successfully push this Metalworks last.
Bro, Juxta just sat on the teleporter, saw it, like heard a soldier, sat on the teleporter. The man is instantly in spawn. There is no medic for you to shoot because he's just in spawn. Do take down the teleporter, so I was going to say maybe they have a bit of an opportunity to try to come in here with that. They've been very good at taking down that sentry. They have moved it slightly this time onto the red crate, so a little less spammable from main here. So I have to find a slightly different angle here on the side of the MANDEM. They are just sending it in through main, but Zams has the stickies in. It's going to be a 4-man here. They know they've got... It's a 5-man, sorry. They know they've got nothing to lose. And do my eyes deceive me? Are they passing the line? Are they stepping on the point?
My god. It's just KN for the moment. I think? No. Okay, no. Let's not get too excited.
Oh my god, no!
Just proving himself to be alive. Feeling something, maybe just a little bit, but no, he's gonna back right back off. I also, like, this is the problem, right? I just think it's objectively the wrong play to actually cap off that second, reset that round timer. Instead, now you're forcing MANDEM with 20 seconds left to just go for some kind of Hail Mary push here, because the Ubers are even on both sides. If you look at that server chat, you can see there's only one team typing, and it's not the red team. That has to be the mental of MANDEM fading, as KN is actually shut down by these rockets, but there's just 7 seconds left on the point. And so the sentry gun is taken down, the Uber trade now comes forward, a lot of damage. Catcher comes across, and there's a scout onto the point about half cap. He does get a little bit of time. We're now out of round timer, but unfortunately, look at this. There's still no players onto the point. It is Haunts forced to sack forwards. He doesn't find it. We reset that round, back onto middle. Last time, it was MANDEM with the instant success. But with the even Uber situation, we were just right back where we left off now. Surely this time, Dirty Maggots have a way to win the mid.
Yep, any more opium coming up?
No, guys.
Here, we'll have to see. We'll have to see as we go into this second mid here. They really need to make sure they don't lose anyone. They're super early here. Because they obviously bottom are going down straight away. Zams hits the rollout this time, so might be able to do a little bit of damage, but not really able to get activated on any of these mids thus far, to be honest.
Oh, it's a lot of early damage onto June, actually. Drops down to about 100 HP, so she's going to be forced to take over towards that pack area. It's actually a lot of damage onto Zoe as well, so he can't get activated. It's that early kill. He managed to find last mid that really opened up the doors for MANDEM, but this time around, you can see KN has a massive spam angle onto June. It's difficult for her actually to go forwards, and this is... It's in high control, at least for the moment. Fancy trying to go forwards. Very passive mid. As both team kind of juggling for position. Now it is Haunts bombing forward, doing a lot of damage, but it doesn't actually manage to find any kills. So still, the Scout's getting aggressive. Everyone going low on the MANDEM side. They're keeping on this pressure. The soldiers are bombing in and finally committing to something. Haunts is in on behind, doing a lot of damage, and the Uber's forced out from Juxta. June has as well, but she's refusing to pop. But she's sent all the way back onto alleyway. But now, because she stayed alive, the whole team has as well. They have a counter Uber to go from. KN is in, and he does manage to get the force. It's a huge rocket onto the Scout as well. So maybe they managed to deny it for now. Juxta is out onto second. The soldier trade can come through. Ryan is forced to back off. MANDEM take mid. I actually don't think they take second here. Oh, nope, they're getting second. Never mind, guys. You know, I'll take it. I don't want to see second. It's fine.
This is despicable that they are actually just on to last.
This
is crazy. They have advantage, 30% advantage. Your spawner comes up in time as well. There's like a massive chance you just get this, and you can hold it. No, they're like, nah. We're on to last.
Yeah, you know, like, okay, I feel like most of the time when they're just sat on last and refusing to push, that makes sense to me. Like, that's a reasonable, like, you look at it, you're just making the correct percentage play. But choosing not to try and hold second there with an Uber ad is a bit crazy to me, to be honest. So you can see the double soldier stacks are coming in. Once again, the sentry gun is dead, but there's just no space to be found. It's Ryan coming in. Both him and Walter shut down this parachute from Geordie. What a culprit.
I feel like they're not really spotting things out and trying to find info here, because they get that gun and then no one is spotting to actually see where the medic is at all. They just have a medic in spawn, they have a gun barely building, they can basically just take bridge for free and they can pressure point off of that. They can try to do something on those even Ubers rather than just send the double soldier bomb, but they don't spot it out. They instantly send the double sack in and it gets nothing, right? Because the medic is all the way back. They're playing so passively. You have a mosquito in the sky of Geordie who's just going to rain down onto anyone who comes in. And they're not even capping point, as they want to extend this for as long as possible. So they do this so they can just keep having more sacks. You still have 2.5 minutes on this point, and then you have 4 minutes again. So you're just giving yourself extra time to try to find these plays. And yeah, we're really finding a little bit of niche micro detail now in how we want to play this by doing these sort of plays.
But I think crucially also, I think like this is also still, I think, definitely a risk that MANDEM are playing, because we really saw that because they didn't cap the point in the last time that these teams ended up playing, that meant that the MAGGOTS didn't have to waste any time whatsoever recapping their own second point with that massive advantage that they managed to roll through, and it ended up losing MANDEM the map. So you have to do this with a bit of an understanding that you are taking a risk. Now, spy up for Zoe, as KN will spot this out. He's taking his sweet time to make absolutely sure he's not playing that game of chicken. He's still checking. There we go.
He really wants to make sure here.
Yeah.
No pyro up though, so Zoe might actually be able to get in to some sort of a decent position, to be honest. It's a lot less effective without that pyro. Obviously, they are just going to be spamming pistol shots, rockets, pipes everywhere to try to find this spy. They know he's up, so he's not a completely non-factor, and nearly finds his way into a soldier as well here. We'll see what he can do. I like that they're at least going for something, right? At least trying something.
He has about 5 minutes to work with as well, right? This is still MANDEM any to kind of cap second at their leisure to bump up that time back to 4 minutes.
He's on the teleporter.
Oh my god. Imagine. Go for a sap. That's an engineer coming through. He's going to sap that, and soldiers sack in, and there's a low medic that he tries to... Okay, sure. Teleporter down, guys.
Yeah, big important fix here. I just think he thought that what was going to happen was the medic comes through, you kill the medic, right? Like, from coming, you're just trying to counter strat, and for some reason a bot mode is just coming through. Like, why is your engineer coming through the teleporter during the sack wave? We may never know, but at least they're trying to, you know, read these plays, try to make something different happen here. Zoe still is spawned up on this spy for now, so gonna be going for it again, I guess. Direct hit out as well.
Oh, I like this from Ryan. He's going to be looking to one-shot whatever buildings are in the way. Maybe perhaps even hit a really cool air shot onto this last. So they never expect the spy twice in a row. Famous adage of Sideshow, they never expect the spy 3 times in a row, perhaps. Zoe is in. That's a bit of early damage, but doesn't appear to be spotted. So he actually manages to maneuver a bit further back. Can spot out the medic, sitting in the usual position here around the teleporter, around the dispenser. So Ryan, his job, you can see, is anti-air rather than actually bombing forwards. And this is a soldier aggressing in onto him. He's not finding the rockets. Geordie with the trade. That means direct hit shut down. This spy is still in play. It's about 3 minutes left to work with, but you can see them. They're checking around. They've spotted him out. He might just be dead.
Yeah, he got clipped when he came in as well, so there was no chance they really could have got it in there. But yeah, just trying to wait for anything to happen. I guess they want to take down Geordie with the direct hit, the anti-air missile onto him, and then maybe you can just get in a little bit better, and you get a sap, you get a stab, you get anything, give them an advantage. It's pretty good here. But now, yeah, we're still back. 2 minutes remaining. Obviously, they did cap up that second point a little while ago. So we are just kind of waiting for that round timer. But once again, this looks very reminiscent of what we saw yesterday, right? Where they just don't have an answer on the MANDEM side for this hold.
So once again, Ryan's going to bomb forwards. This time looking to maybe find the soldier pick. But just eats so much damage as he tries to come in. It's decent spam damage as well from the opposing side. So MAGGOTS completely safe. Not worried at all about these soldiers. Geordie on the parachute is so effective at denying the shutter door. He's taking a lot of damage, but he can back off and get healed up. So, nothing really to worry about. Minute and a half now left on the round timer. MANDEM with no off classes either. So Haunts once again is going to go for a high bomb in forwards. It's Juxta actually caught out onto the point. Eats 50 damage and is down to 13 HP. And he just doesn't pop it. Goes down to 1. It's a 5-man sack. But Juxta just refuses to pop it.
How does he survive?
It's
At
1
HP. 1 HP, man. And he holds it. What?
That was like, it was the bonus like scout pistol damage coming in from across the map as well. Everyone just tries to send it in onto him, but he just absolutely refuses to pop. I feel like that's a situation where he just accepts, right? If I drop, I drop. They all wipe for it, but now Ryan, he's in once again. He's trying to go for this sack while he still can, but Fancy Elf is dead already, so is Zoe. It's a decent rocket onto App, actually. Very nicely done. But still just 5-man sacking. 40 seconds left to go. And June just kind of chilling on mid. With, 20 seconds left.
Yeah, man, the amount of B-hopping that's coming out of the MANDEM side really tells me everything I need to know about what is going on inside of their heads, and it's not a whole lot of anything, I think. They are really just trying to hit their head against this wall, and they came ever so close on that last push, just could not find the last tiny drop of HP, and as the timer goes down, 3 seconds on the clock, can anyone even find their way onto point? It's Uber's trade out, no one can, and once again, we're resetting the round with 10 minutes remaining on regulation.
A round victory here would put you up 1-0, but it would still not win you the map. So maybe we live in this sick, twisted world where for our own enjoyment, we might need no round cap for the next 10 minutes if it means that we don't have to sit through another 2 to find a victor, or perhaps just 1. Juxta this time around, going back the middle, and it feels like much as MANDEM have tried everything they possibly can to break the last hold, Dirty Maggots have tried everything they possibly can to break the mid fight. So Juxta now showing up the mid, we're on a Kritzkrieg, to see if that works out any different here for the side of the Maggots.
Yeah, they've been playing it quite passively, and that's been kind of working out better for them. On the Maggots, and it's a big bombs in though. MANDEM wants to just come in and collapse though, but they're losing 3 for it. June taken down very low during all of this. Pistol spam coming out onto her as well, trying to find any final damage that she will be managing to get out here. I feel like this crit's advantage they would have had is going to be completely negated, but I don't think anyone would have spotted this out here, right? Like, this is a really big opportunity to try to go in and go for a hero play here. Decide not to go for that super aggressive play. Going to wait for Zams to come up here, see if he can find the Kobe all the way into their main. Or they're just going back to spawn to change the minigun.
No way. Really? That's crazy. They're at 0% now, by the way. So actually, MANDEM have 100% advantage, and they will never know. Because they're sat on second, and they're probably sitting there wondering, why aren't they pushing yet? The crits to mid into not even attempting the crits onto second is strike 2.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
This is definitely a play, but you hate to say it, but it's probably the right play, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you look at the macro of this, you're like, okay, if they fail this crits, it's like a 1 in 5 chance that you get something decent enough to push off of, right? You just get Uber back into your wiping most of the time, right? Juxta's probably not getting out on this map. And then, yeah, you're back onto last at minimum. At max, you lose the round, right? So they have built it back up. We've managed to yap for 40 seconds. It was only a 40 seconds, so they built it pretty much the max rate the entire time, so you don't have to wait too long for something to happen. Jordy is up on the parachute here, so we should be expecting him to do his signature big parachute jump up onto bridge or something similar here, as, yeah, getting these players buffed, sending KN into main as well. He'll probably want to get active here. So finally making their way in. It's been about a minute. Jordy going up high. It's Fancy had skis ready for him. And we're back to waiting, baby.
Yep, 2 minutes left on this round time of MANDEM electing to hold on to seconds, and so that means that they can start barreling in onto mid. Zoe does so much damage, comes through and finds 3. So now App is up on this middle as Fancy Elf is taking so much space. Ryan bombing forwards as well. That is a disgusting pipe in onto App. Uber forced out of Juxta, and June nowhere near. So this Uber entirely defensive is used on nothing. And MANDEM now, it's a massive advantage. KN is in to try and equalize, but June is already so far back in onto enemy house, he's going to have to settle. Some kind of fancy play, but what he needs more than anything else is just a delay. Because Juxta now, all he wants to do is build up this Uber. MANDEM have a massive silver bullet. They're going to need to use this to maximum effectiveness to take a round.
Yeah, this is the opportunity they really need. They're not really able to build at all here. So he's going down by Jordy is something at least, but they're finding their way in onto second on the MANDEM side. Still 100% advantage. Bot mode going to be getting up a sentry gun, but already looking to make their way in lobby here. Fancy Elf does not want to wait around here. They just want to go in for this Uber, potentially. Oh, they look like they're questioning it. Do we go for this? Do we go for that? Do we go for a sack to try to take down the gun? What do we do? During all this time, Juxta gets the Uber.
Yeah, that is just... It's Jordy in the 2v1, right? In on the flank, he manages to kill those two players, and that means that MANDEM were looking... Yes, they had an Uber advantage, but they're looking at a 4v6 push, which is not what they want. But because they haven't done that now, they're going to have to push in onto last equal Uber situation. That is a huge set of rockets there onto KN. Thorns falling in return. It is a 1-for-1 sack for the moment. Ryan, though, decent positioning here in onto this loss. There's a lot of damage dealt as well, actually. So many low health bars. Look at the MAGGOTS' health. They're all so low. And I think maybe MANDEM have finally found them way forward. As Zoe just captured up onto the point. It is so close to being capped, but they have committed so many resources onto it. Don't fight the cap either. They get the Uber force onto Juxta. But look at him now running in onto second. He doesn't have an Uber to work with. But MANDEM, massive advantage. They're onto mid.
Yeah, do cap up at the second point, so going to slow things down just a little bit. Already building that defensive sentry gun onto Lasso. Obviously, are going to be making their way back. But going to be making as much time as possible. Juxta already on 50% here. And looking like he can potentially get, but MANDEM barreling their way in through Valley here. No one's going to really contest here. It's all just a little bit performative of a second hold here. As Fancy making his way into left-hand side, right-hand side, main. Using Uber here, it is the Uber advantage. Finding their way onto bridge, take the gun down. Good. Only cap time coming out here has been very good for them in the past. Juxta manages to get the Uber. It's using, but they get a lot of cap time on the point. So many players down. Fancy looks like he wants to go for something though. Zoe is fighting off in the background. Fancy hiding on this left-hand side. It's just a whisker that he needs to get. He jumps his way in, doesn't find quite enough.
It feels a bit disjointed from MANDEM. They can't really decide what they want to do, if they want to go for the kills, if they want to go for the round cap. And unfortunately, they end up getting a lot of super early pressure onto that point, right? But because they're sacking in like that, and they're not really actually managing to fully convert on either the kills or the point, it just looks so terrible for them. Really nice rocket onto bot mode as he actually tries to go forwards for once. The MAGGOTS are choosing to capitalize off of this advantage that they have. Going in onto middle, Zoe is dead and so is Ryan, so KN is going to fall in the trade. MANDEM's still up on middle, but they're losing players. This is AF finding another frag.
Looking really good for MANDEM, managing to bully themselves in there, showing that they do have, you know, an equal Uber's push there. It was really, really nice, just catching out a couple of MANDEM players early on, and Jordy being a pest in the air, and KN going in, getting some good damage, and an AF just coming in and assumedly finishing pretty much everything off. As the train doesn't stop, they're in onto second. Jordy's trying to parachute in, having a little spot of what their setup is, allowing his team to really try to make some sort of game plan. It's 100% Ubers on both teams, so yeah, basically just looking for that sack, trying to get the Ubers out of play on the MANDEM side. As 3 minutes remaining on this round time until we do go into that perpetual overtime, and it's just one round to win.
So far, any round could be a massive deciding factor for this game. Zam sitting in lower, just setting up stickies, trying to set up any kind of play from his soldiers. As they will just be getting buffs and be looking to go for some kind of sack play in onto second, I assume. But the sticky right around this corner, Jordy almost walks onto them, unknowing still that they exist. No soldier really in position from the MAGGOTS to sack in, so they're still good, just going to be sat back onto Ali. It's even Uber situation as Horn sits and waits. Not that effective as a soldier in on holding Metalworks second, but needs to wait for the opponent to charging forwards. 2 minutes now left on the round timer as KN is sacking forwards. Finds a soldier, doesn't find any angles, so he just gets traded off. It's Jordy in the 1v1 in house, which he loses as Horns is surging forwards. This is now a bunch of kills from MANDEM as they look to keep trading forwards.
Yeah, so much aggression on this left-hand side here. They are going to lose 2 for it, though. Overextend do manage to get the Uber out of Juxta, so it's not all too bad, but they do trade from June as well here. How much can they find? They find bot mode initially. Juxta looking pretty alone in-house here. Minimum, MANDEM going to be getting this mid-cap here, resetting that round timer in this as well here. But do they fight on Dirty Maggots? Looks like they want to a little bit allow them to get the cap, but these soldiers were a little bit active in House and Valley do decide to back out in the end here. And now it's going to be on MANDEM to try to get something going. Do they want to do it before they get these Ubers? Do they want to do it while things are a little more uncomfortable? It feels like that's kind of when they play best.
Not electing to actually go for anything. Instead, June now 70-80% Uber of her own. MANDEM are building this up before they go for any kind of play. Juxta 80% as well. So both teams are going to have Uber here. Just kind of flipped situations here on this point. Map timer down to about 40 seconds. A loss team fight here could just spell the end of the map. For MANDEM, it would be their ticket onto that third deciding map of Granary. Maggots would just be taking it all. So Ryan's going to eat this buff, and you can see exactly what he wants to do. Just going through alleyway as a soldier friend buffs up as well. He goes for the initial jump, as Ryan can follow this up as well with a skip jump forwards. It's a lot of damage dealt, but unfortunately they just can't really find much space. So MANDEM's still forced to sit back as Jordy is sat in lower. No one's really committing.
Soldiers are sending some fade bombs in, trying to get something. They are getting a little bit of space here. Baldur's trying to see if he can finish up any of this damage from soldiers. It's a fast bomb in onto Juxta.
Oh, 48! And he has the pop. It is so much damage. And MANDEM are crushing through. June set so low as well in that counter sack as she actually has to end up popping. So it's 2 for 2 for the moment. Neither team with both soldiers alive. It is MANDEM down a soldier. We're back onto last. Bot mode up on the heavy, just in case that MANDEM go for the aggressive play. They're still sat back up on second. It is Boulder peeking just a little bit. You can see Fancy Elf far forwards in lobby. This is giving the Maggots time. Last hold is up and getting set up as well, as this bot mode engineer would be that final piece of the puzzle.
They do look like they want to try to go for something here, sending a lot of players into this main area. It's a soldier bomb coming in high. Juxta is so far back though. Sentry gun taken down. It's a little bit of cap time, so they're a little bit more scatterbrained this time on the side of MANDEM. And it's a scout of Zoe coming in from the flank. This could be huge here, all the way into their spawn. They have to look in front. They have to look behind. He is taken down, but takes one with him. And now this is such a tense situation. 3 versus 4 here. This is a difficult defense for the Dirty Maggots. It's Sam finding a pick. It's Uber's coming out from Juxta, but June is nowhere to be seen.
No way. He's in onto the point. He just has to bomb out. June was so low and didn't have Uber that whole time. So MANDEM, they can't fully commit. Zoe does so much work. But unfortunately for him, his team not quite able to respond. So June now, huge advantage. This is MANDEM. Without a demo man, they're going to have to wait for him. But this, surely this is your time. If you're ever going to break this last hold, Zams is up on the cannon as well. With Fancy Elf joining his team, he is looking for MANDEM to send this forwards. You can see now, massive advantage is slowly dwindling as this Uber is going to come in straight onto the sentry gun and gets taken down. So now what do? The rest of Maggots are hiding in spawn as Fancy Elf is sticking them all off. It is so much damage onto the enemy demo man who does end up falling. But this is a soldier parachute doing so much damage. Is left alone to guard this point. KN is 11 HP and he cannot hold on his own. MANDEM tied the series up and we go to Granary.
Righting their wrongs are MANDEM winning this 1-0 in that overtime, winning each other's map picks and sending us into a third map there. That's what they needed. They needed that advantage and they played off of it so well there.
Really nice to see, to be honest. I think it's more so a relief from the side of MANDEM, right? That they finally managed to break that Dirty Maggots last hold on Metalworks. After, to be honest, yesterday, multiple uber advantage pushes that they didn't manage to succeed and successfully push in. This time, they finally get it. I don't know what, dude. Look at the logs. Bot mode.
It's bot mode on NG again. That's always so cursed just looking at it. And you're like, oh, okay. So you just have more time on engineer.
This is how you know what kind of game we're watching, right? It's a 24 frag engineer game. Okay,
maybe like the most non-log you could ever look at. Like none of this matters. None of this tells you any sort of story about the game, other than there was a lot of last point.
Yeah, they kept double soldier sacking, and it still didn't work. Here's the thing.
Well, they were 5-manning as well. It wasn't just a double soldier. They were 5-manning. I'm still not getting anything.
I feel like after those consecutive 5-man, something happened in the mentality of the Maggots. They started, like, playing second a bit more, right? Like, I feel like, I don't know what it was, but it felt like for most of that game, they were playing very much just not to lose, right? And then at some point, it felt like for the Maggots, a sort of flip switched for them. And they started playing a bit more to win. They started taking those more aggressive fights in onto second, in onto mid, even though the Uber situations weren't perfect. Whereas at the beginning of the map, they just went straight back to last, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They knew they needed to get into the game a little bit more on the Maggots. I think they kind of realized, okay, guys, if we keep sitting on here, we're not going to be able to do anything, right? And also, maybe they realized, okay, like the mids weren't amazing. They did win one mid in the end, but really looked a little outclassed. And we're like, okay, see if we can get anything going from that. But they've got absolutely nothing happening on those second pushes where I felt like took a minute for them to set up, but Geordie just to get exploded by Sticky. So I don't know. The game plan just didn't feel good from the Dirty Maggots, to be honest. It feels like they were kind of just rolling the dice constantly. Obviously had a disgusting last hold. But other than that, I don't know. They looked like the weaker team, even though the logs might say differently.
Now the question is, what happens on Granary? This is another map notorious for being a bit difficult to push on, but to be honest, also, I think this is a map that earlier today, MANDEM were looking exceptional on against the Ender Pearls, and they really kind of maintained that upper hand throughout the whole 30 minutes of that game.
Yeah, known as 7 CP, right, sometimes, but I think actually the meta's been changing in the last couple of years to be a little faster outside of last. Last is still last. But other than that, to be honest, you don't really see too many people getting caught in yard footy. There's a lot more plays that people are happy to go for, and a lot more aggression into second as well. So it's not always a completely non-map. But yeah, as you said, MANDEM looked pretty good on it. I think it was a 4-1 victory against the Ender Pearls, who Dirty Maggots actually in season did struggle against a little bit as well. Did have a close 3-3 bout against them as well. So obviously near the same level as these two teams as well with the Ender Pearls, and to take them out in a pretty dominating fashion looked pretty good. And yeah, quite honestly, Fancy and the Soldiers just looked super, super strong on that map, and that's exactly, I think, what we need to see is just Fancy just going crazy. But there's always an issue, right? There's always someone trying to deny him. You kind of know he's the guy to watch on this MANDEM team, because if he gets unleashed, he will just kind of win the game.
He's been having, especially that first map, right? He was so solid. We need to keep seeing that from him if MANDEM want a chance. I am so curious. This is not a map we really have seen the Maggots play at all, and I wonder what they do. This is not a map where that sort of bot mode sniper pocket pick is really all that effective either, right? Like, Sniper and Granary sightlines are kind of horrible, unless you're sort of in last, or either in or out of last. It's kind of the only situation where you really would run a sniper. So instead, it's going to be very vanilla. On these mids, Haunts and Ryan really like those kind of double bombs to take height and then kind of surf back out, right? Sort of use that sort of just their presence to sort of open the door for the rest of the team to take the actual high ground of these crates, I'd imagine, as well. Quite analogous to the point, or maybe the top of points on process as well. We see something similar here on this mid. I wonder what you think, though, Steven. Who's gonna win?
Who's gonna win?
Yeah.
Just asking the questions already. I have to think winning that map is actually huge for the MANDEM mental.
Yeah.
I have to think they're actually so riled up right now. There's definitely some shouting in Mumble and a little bit of shit talking coming out and saying, yeah, we beat them on that map. They stayed on last this entire time and still managed to do it. So I think vibes are going to be immaculate right now in the MANDEM Mumble. And as you said, I think it's been coming down to mids a lot with these teams who can win the mid, can kind of follow things up unless it gets really, really slow, right? And a lot of the time, MANDEM have just been looking stronger. And I think the double bombs are maybe the best mid you can do, just getting a lot of space with those soldiers. But I do worry that Dirty Maggots play very similarly, with Geordie just always doing a fade bomb, right? Always doing a very similar thing. And if those scouts can't get up on high, and if Fancy does get pressured a little bit and can't really help out taking players from high grounds, I feel like we could see a bit of ring around the rosies again. So we'll have to see. I am giving it to MANDEM a little bit here. They did want the other map though. They did want Bagel to be played.
Yeah.
And this I did see some screenshots coming out. So obviously not their preferred pick, but I have no doubt that they will have maybe troubles, but not huge ones coming out here. So I think it'll be close, maybe a 2-1 for MANDEM. But yeah, from mids alone, I think I give it to them.
I think I tend to agree with your assessment. I think for me, the final little spanner in the works that we can throw onto this map is the fact that this is another map where the parachute is quite good, especially on last, where you have that sort of very, very easy way to get super high up into that skybox. You can just kind of sit up there, do infinite damage, and float forever. I think, to be honest, even there's probably some room for it to be used in on to yard if you want. Wonder how much Geordie chooses to use it on this final map. I guess it comes across depending, how much they actually win the mids. We've been talking and trying to fill time for so long.
That's like, what else do you really say about these teams, right? We've pretty much seen everything we could have. I mean, okay, maybe we talk about Zoe for a second.
Yeah.
Unleashed on first map. Didn't do anything on second map. Not his fault, to be honest.
No.
Like, what can you do in that situation? He is on clutch duty. He's on running onto last and watch house and under. Like, you don't do much. I feel like he could be a bit of an X factor, a player we haven't really talked about coming into this map, where you can do quite a lot on the flank scout. You can find a lot of cheeky stuff coming in, pushing from second into mid, or even pushing in through flank as well. You can do a very important job of letting your soldier get in by taking a lot of space. And previously, I do remember Zoe actually doing a lot in Lunchbox. And I think if he can do a lot in Lunchbox and let his soldier basically get in for free, or maybe even get an opening pick, it could be huge for his team. So I think definitely a player to watch that hasn't been watched so much.
It's also it's a dynamic that this map has over a map like Metalworks, is that flank is sort of a bit more removed than it is on Metalworks, right? Like on Metalworks is very much like everyone's kind of sat in the exact same position, but that addition of Lunchbox for both teams really opens an avenue for a player like Zoe, who loves to get in behind, to really kind of activate and find those flank plays where they're really needed. Could be the deciding factor hit on this game. I think similarly, ramp room pressure might be enormous. I know that Samurai were running this mid where somehow, some way, Leth was getting to his own ramp room super, super early and just pelting down damage on the entire combo as they were walking onto mid. Made it so much harder for them to play. I wonder if someone's been watching some SCVs, because that looked pretty strong to me.
Yeah, we will have to see. We will have to see. I know we talked about the mid of the side of MANDEM, but maybe a little bit of predictions on how Dirty Maggots want to play. I do remember KN liking to jump onto the lamp, on their side. He has a jump where he just likes to stand on there and do a lot of spam, and it's a mid you don't see a lot of people doing, and I think it can be really, really strong because they just have to kind of look at you, right? And I think usually we're seeing Geordie being the one to take eyes and just kind of let KN do the follow-up for him as that soldier combo, but I think maybe KN is the one to take eyes and let Geordie just kind of come in and do something silly. Could be really strong for them. Or they just rotate around left side. We'll have to see.
Rotate around. There's kind of nice thing about Granary is we played it forever, right? There's so many variations of this mid. One big expectation that we have to set right now is this is a mid where it is extraordinarily rare for either medic to survive the mid, right? Like this is a mid where you go in as a medic and you are just in a horrible position from second one to the end of the mid fight, and most of the time, both medics on either side will go down because you just kind of have nowhere to go, right? The high ground is not really such that you can play it yourself as a medic unless you kind of get to surf a projectile, but then when you do, you're still in the presence of, you're still within the range of scouts that can shoot you down for 60 damage. Like, it's a very hard medic mid to navigate. And June and Juxta both have kind of been doing, actually, to be honest, fairly, like, pretty admirable jobs. I have to, especially Juxta, also on that last map, that little 1 HP hold, that puts him up in my book.
Yeah, it takes some balls of steel to be doing that, to be fair. I don't know, man. It's just gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be so much on the mids, and if these medics can survive, it's a big advantage. But I think a lot of the time they might just try to wipe each other. They might just go in super aggressively and completely change the playstyle and just go for that kamikaze play and see who comes out on top. And to be honest, when they do those sort of plays, it's been pretty even. It's been fun to see when they do it. They don't do it very often. Don't think we saw it once on Metalworks where they would just kamikaze play in, other than those 5-mans. But when it has happened, it's been very close. So I would kind of like them to just do it, roll the dice, see who wins, go for that aggressive play. Who knows? I mean, as you were saying about the mid for meds, every single corner is a death order. There's no real way to get out of it. On Metalworks, you have Alley, where you can just run away in, shoot for free. But you come into this map and you're just stuck in choke, pretty much. You can try to run over point, and there's a few more surf opportunities, but there's often crates that you're just going to run into, and a soldier is just going to splash damage, airshot you, and you're dead. Like, it is a bit more rough for these meds. But, dude, they have great movement. Like, they might just be able to surf out of it. It's been some very impressive surfs out of both of these meds.
They're going to have to keep going, because what we have seen from both sides is they're so willing to sack in onto the meds as well, right? Both of these soldier duos they're both so willing to go for those kind of high ground, huge, like, high airtime sacks where you kind of bounce upwards and use the fact that they're in the air and everyone's looking at them to sort of increase and cause a distraction for their team to maybe follow up on as well a few times. Other times they just kind of set up these bombs, and of course June and Juxta are doing such a good job that they're not incredibly effective always, but like, the danger always there for them. My worry though here is still that this last might be a bit hard to break as well.
Well, we have so much time to worry about that last, but it plays similar to Process in my eyes a lot of the time, with how the medic plays, at least, where he's going to play close and have that sentry gun always watching things. But at least you have some more interesting doors to try to play around. I liked what Zoe did in the previous game they played, where he peeked up from top and got a pick onto a soldier. I actually can't remember if I've ever seen that before, where you just kind of stand on those vents and just slowly, methodically wait out for a player to peek their head and just take them out. And it gave them way better of an opportunity. So see if they pull that sort of gimmick out, because it worked really, really well last time. And that's kind of how I like to see the sniper being played, other than just trying to play in the shutters and find the head of someone who's just not where they should be, right?
I want you now, not Steven. Apparently we're running up soon. So, final map predictions here before we go live on this final little map. ETF2L Season 50 Premiership. Who's going to take it all?
I am giving it the way of Mandem. Usually the #1 hater, but I feel like they are going to be in that mindset to win. And I am seeing these soldier duos, and they've looked so good on Haunts, and I think Ryan always has it in his wheelhouse. So 2-1 towards the Mandem is my prediction.
We're live hit on middle. This is the final map, the grand final of ETF2L Season 51. Once again, and onto middle, it's Mandem and Dirty Maggots. These have been long games so far, and as predicted, KN is instantly up onto the lamp, but instantly taken down. It is Geordie trying to sack forwards as well, but a lot of damage is taken so quickly for the Maggots. They all take so much damage, and now with 3 players down, Zams with a massive pipe onto Haunts as he's tried to bomb in and follow up. He gets shut down. So the Maggots now, they still have an uber charge. They're trying to hold on to this second. Mandem are getting ready to break down this door.
Yeah, they are in a good position here. Fancy always opting to take this Shutters area and just send a lot of spam. Gets a lot of damage onto Geordie, getting taken down to about 20 HP there. It's not what you like to start your defense off. Will manage to survive, and things going to reset for just a second here. The rest of MANDEM are finally making their way here. We'll see what they want to go for. Usually, you're going to send these soldiers into left side up the lunchbox and try to play spam from there, and that looks like exactly what's going to happen, just charioting their beam up slowly, having a little bit of a chat about how they want to play things. They are spotted out by the peak of the scout here, just checking everything, being ever so cautious here. And it is just going to be a lone KN up here to deal with these two soldiers when they do decide to come through. Oh, Paulie's there as well now.
Doing a lot of spam damage as Haunts there. Just kind of peeks the corner, but it's so much damage dealt, right? So it's very difficult for him to actually push out in onto this enemy. Taking the high ground opens the door so much for MANDEM. So Ryan's going to bomb through. It's actually a kill into KN, but traded straight away by Geordie, who finds that follow-up rocket. So MANDEM just rotating over ever so slightly. Haunts still wants to take this lead. Fancy kind of playing this alone for the moment, but now it's Haunts just leading this forward. Hits a beautiful set of rockets onto AF, but this is the Uber popped out. It is a soldier solo. The first time in 20 years we get to see a soldier take an Uber forwards. It's actually 2 frags here as well, but not an Uber found whatsoever. So with these 2 frags, MANDEM are going to be looking to sack in, try to get this force onto Juxta. They have the number advantage, have an Uber advantage, but the spam's coming through and Juxta's sitting very far back.
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd try to rip a couple of sacks there while they had like a little bit of time in those 2 picks there, but decide against it for now. And I don't think Dirty Maggots are pushing in here. I think they are staying on this last point. They did have an advantage, but this point notoriously hard to push into. You can kite so well through the shutters and then just push in through 3 or 4 doors sometimes as well, just to get back in, and so hard. Sacks come in onto Justa. It's Ryan indeed gets the force. That's what MANDEM needed, as June coming up. It is a triple sack, so are going to be sending their way forward a little bit, trying to get a little bit of cap time coming out here. See if they can catch things up and slow down this MANDEM team, as the spawners coming in 1 and 100% advantage in the bag. It's Geordie very aggressive into the shutters door, not able to get anything, and just going to be making their way onto this second point and then onto this last point for MANDEM. For Ubers, Juxta only on 40%, no chance he gets during this fight, so a great initial opportunity for MANDEM.
See, now is going to be looking to lead this Uber. It is come through, and he doesn't even spot a sentry gun. So he's now going to jump up instead. It takes so much height, get blasted back. The sentry gun now taken down. It is a soldier with a parachute in the air, eating a lot of damage, actually. But Boulder just managed to clean him up. It is Ryan falling, but Fancy with another frag, now looking to converge onto this point. It is a 3v3, but Fancy keeps hitting pipes. Unfortunately for him, though, Af keeps hitting bullets as well. It's a 3k for him, and somehow, just some way, holds on to the Maggots. So Juxta now, massive advantage of his own, and we cap up this second point. Dirty Maggots are now going to be looking to lead this forwards and onto second, onto mid. They do not want to pop this here. The MANDEM have to be able to force this Uber ASAP. Can they hold on to mid?
Making their way in from ramp room and choke here. It's going to be bot mode falling early. Getting very aggressive on the side of MANDEM. Sending these sacks in deep. Do get the force, but losing free for it gives a really good opportunity here for Dirty Maggots to make their way into second if they choose so. They are trying to set up a little bit here on the side of MANDEM. Do want to try to take a little bit of yard contest, but it is going to be KN making his way in through choke. Rest of the team now coming in through ramp room. It's a good initial rocket in onto Boulder. Does get taken down. It's Fancy Elf now caught out as well. He's in so deep, somehow getting an arrow in from June, and Juxta goes down to background from Haunts. I didn't even see.
Haunts is just on a complete merry-go-round there, all the way in behind on the ramp. So now it's all onto Af. June, a massive advantage. Af has found his way very far back. It's going to take him a while to activate, because he has to watch out for anyone kind of looking for him. Boulder on the respawn as well, none the wiser. So Af now just initiating the back cap, trying to stall for time as Boulder knows exactly what's waiting for him. It's a 1v1 in on middle as the team from Dirty Maggots come forward. Don't manage to deny that point. Trap sprung, nothing comes of it, and instead it is still June who actually gets forced on middle as bot mode runs in. I didn't notice at all.
Yeah, really good stuff to at least get that force right, but with no scouts, it's a little bit of a scary situation. Those soldiers could come up and do ever so much, and there's always going to be the spam coming out. There are some good stickies up on this shutter area, so not going to be the freest of pushes for the side of MANDEM, and it is even going to be Uber advantage on the side of Dirty Maggots, pushing their way into this lunchbox area. So it looks like they want to try to make a push happen here from this right-hand side. Shutters are spotted out now. Need to be a little careful of someone trying to go in from behind here, as they're pretty much leaving 0 players in for that case. But Uber's coming up very soon. June on 90%, and maybe they get Yard, but I don't think they're getting much more here. Oh, but it's a nice rocket from Geordie onto Zoe, and that should open something up.
Geordie's in on behind. It is a massive rocket, but unfortunately onto the wrong player, as the soldier does go in front of June and beat the brunt of the damage from Geordie, who has a massive flank. But now with even Uber's on middle, it is a scout running forwards, and it is the Maggots trying to take space. So Bolter forced to take this trade in onto mid, as no one else is really around. It is Af cleaning house in behind the opposing combo, as June is caught in no man's land. She gets taken down as another huge rocket from Zoe.
Back out
This, it's Boulder in on the back cap, in onto second. It needs to be fought off. There is a scout in to deal with him. The whole team is back, and suddenly this turns into what is effectively a wipe for the Maggots. They take control of mid, they deal with the player in behind, and so Fancy's left with a sticky trap and a dream on second. Haunts on the sniper and forwards, doesn't find the shot, and the rest of the team are just putting in that push through connector.
Honestly, a masterclass push from them there. Just after taking that solo, Uber gets 2, and then June cleaned up in the post as well, and then they have players ready to go for that back capper as well. They just can't ask for much of a better push for Dirty Maggots here, and they get rewarded for second and an Uber advantage push here. Can they make this count? First time we've seen them trying to push this. It is onto Zams. Jumps in through left-hand side there. Taking down the sentry gun. Now finding their way onto this right-hand side. Dirty Maggots players all on this right-hand side. Left-hand side, we find ourselves with MANDEM. But it's kind of trading back and forth here. This heavy going to be a real big issue, as it took a long time to take these stickies down from the point here. And they have to back out on Dirty Maggots. Unsuccessful push. They just couldn't really clean up players. But Af is just going crazy. Taking down Fancy Elf there is a nice little final nail in the coffin.
Druxler finds a really huge bow there in onto Zoe as well. You get that cleanup frag just as they run out. And so it's stalled MANDEM at least for a little bit. But they're now just coming straight in with an Uber of their own. Boulder wants this 2K as he comes forwards, but this is actually Geordie doing an excellent job of kiting out this Uber. He's going to die in yard, but that means the threat is neutralized. Still down 2 soldiers are the Dirty Maggots, so holding on to the middle might be a bit hard. But Juxta, 70% Uber of his own, just needs to hold on to this, and they can use it any way they wish. Probably just defensively. I wouldn't imagine them actually trying to go for the push. The MANDEM, you can see them setting up already. 50% onto the point, they get it captured. They're actually looking to send this in through ramp room of the Maggots.
Yeah, you said they didn't want to play aggressively, but they've changed up their tune as they actually use through. Oh, but Zams hits the crate. Could have been really, really big. I think everyone may be out just enough during all of that, but they are going to ping-pong things as June already on 90% and MANDEM looking to make their way in through choke, and everyone is standing on this point. This could be a crush. They decide to walk it in, do use, see a few potential picks. It's going to be KN in behind, but I think pretty much everyone else on the side of DM is going to fall. I say that though, Geordie going crazy, managing to get a pick there as well, but will go down. So in the end of things, MANDEM not in too bad of a situation. KN
Look at
going to be
KN.
thorn in their side, stuck in behind here. I don't know if they know he's even here.
Haven't spotted him quite yet, but he's just going to sit and wait. Neither team really knows, or the enemy team rather, doesn't know he's there. Ryan now looks like he is checking for that hider, does spot it, hits the first rocket, but loses the 1v1. So KN now successfully, he's trading. Zoe does manage to come in and clean him up, and that's kind of mission accomplished for the moment. Buys Juxta time to have 100%, buys time for the rest of his team to follow up. They managed to claim yards, so now the different story, actually breaking in onto this second. It is so hard to get through this tiny choke point where the Demo Man, the soldiers reign supreme. Really is that 1v1 between Zams and Fancy. See who can actually wrest control of it. Whole blue team standing right behind that corner. Shorty getting buffed up in through Z to maybe just provide some further artillery support. For the moment, neither team really willing to push.
Waiting for those soldier spawners were the Dirty Maggots. Now have both of them up, making their way into Lunchbot's going to be looking for that soldier spam. from uppermost. But actually, Geordie changing up things a little bit, takes a little bit of space into Z instead, and then want to put their beam onto Zams, hoping his damage could do something. There's just so much damage coming here, there, and everywhere. KN, along with bot mode, finding Zoe, though, so an opportunity on the flank, potentially. As the bomb comes in, and they've just left on the side of Mandem. They didn't even want to look into that second after losing that pick.
Yeah, but Dirty Maggots, however, they have a pick to work with, and they know that the enemy setup on last is not quite there, so they're pressuring forwards, and actually they managed to find a kill onto Haunts. And that opens the door for a little bit further of a push forwards here. It's the scouts leading the charge, but it opens the door for Geordie to come in, and he does massive damage in onto that pipe. This is now a soldier, and Ryan, who is down in 8 HP.
So much cap time.
He's just in on the point, completely uncontested. The push comes forwards, and June doesn't have the Uber in time, so Maggots now finding themselves one round up on this last map.
They did have the Uber, they just didn't use it. I think bot mode, a little unspotted, just walking his way up to point, no one really able to deal with him. They were kind of just looking at the combo, barreling their way in through that right-hand side, just managed to get through 2 soldiers in the end, and Jock's taking a nice arrow to keep his scout alive as well. Was pretty much the only reason they managed to make that one work. But yeah, Dirty Maggots finding the first round here in what was a very back and forth 10 minutes. We're on to our second mid here. Let's see if they change anything up this time.
Onto mid we go. It's early spam, it's early rockets coming forwards, and actually it's an early kill onto Zoe. This time Geordie is so far forwards in onto the enemy side, and it is Juxta taken down, but Cowbot mode coming in on the flank. It is a 1v3 and so much damage dealt. The Borrels keep coming forwards, and that's Zams for a 3k on mid. Everyone falls for the side of Mandem, and Zams already in on second. But there are only 3 alive. There's this Cap coming forward. Zams is going for a bit of a spawn camp, but how long can you stay before you risk your own life?
He knows he can't stay too long. He sees the scout and instantly has to back their way up here. But looks like second at a minimum is going to be secure here for the Dirty Maggots here. They want to have a little look in here, at least on the side of Mandem. Don't want to give it up completely. No, Ubers are basically even, and they don't need to fully give it up. And yeah, they've actually managed to gain this one back, and they're going to be holding on to second. So it's going to be one more barrier for DM before they do run away with things, right? Still plenty of time on this clock left, 10 minutes until we go into that infinite overtime, so kind of doesn't really matter too much. You're kind of just building your round advantage here, making it harder for Mandem if they do want to come back into things here, but we'll see what they go for. Last time looked like they just wanted to kind of get a lot of spam onto the flank and found a pick onto Zoe, and that was enough to send Mandem packing. So see if they do something similar here, or if they want to change it up a small bit.
It's KN sitting in on top here once again, of looking actually not at the enemy sort of top area, but instead at the scout, trying to bait him pushing forwards and maybe find that kill, but unsuccessful at least for the moment. So it is just Geordie in on through Z, and KN very much not interested in getting the soldier on top, instead interested in getting the scout through lower. This is still such a precarious situation. The Dirty Maggots had actually about a 20% advantage. Clearly didn't realize it, but there was a tiny little window there. Actually, June didn't have Uber charge. They could have, when they were initially pushing, if they just kind of kept going and go for what they thought would have been a trade, probably could have killed a lot of people.
Yeah, it's always a bit risky though, right? Like, you know June dies a little bit later, but maybe you think you're not building super optimally. Maybe your players aren't healthy enough and you're just a bit worried that they're playing it very kitey and ready to get out, and you just don't really get anything from that. But kind of on the opposite fact, you have looked pretty good at going into last there, and no team really wants to push into this second. It's pretty hard, even with Uber, not to just get re-pushed straight away if you do push out from last to second with Uber advantage. So maybe was a slightly better play for them to try to go for that, but right now they're getting a lot of time on cap. Geordie is just edging things out ever so slowly to try to get that cap, so they can get a little bit more time on that round timer, and then assume they're going to be wanting to go for sacks or just sending a lot of spam onto one player and trying to find a pick on the Dirty Maggots side. But we'll have to wait a little bit, as obviously we're in a bit of a pause here, Wan.
We will have to see what this pause is all about. As for the moment, see, it's going to be happening a minute and a half into the future after this very, to be honest, quite tight situation, right? Neither team is really sort of super comfortable sitting here. very much walking on a tightrope here onto Granary second, where single rocket, everyone is so close together that a one pipe, one rocket, all of these can do so much damage to everyone else around you, and it really gets so scary. It could flip in such a tiny little moment. You can see actually the cap very close to completion here for the Maggots. I hadn't even realized they almost have this cap.
Oh, we just got told it's a pause bug, so it's not quite that. But I also thought the same thing was happening. Because I was like, oh, maybe Geordie, that's why he's playing in Z, is just to go constantly back and forward. But yeah, maybe not that close. I'd be quite surprised if it was. How do you feel about this play, trying to play it from main compared to playing up Lunchbox?
I don't know. Okay, I think when you have the Uber advantage and you're just looking to actually push in, I think going from top Lunchbox is just better, right? You can actually come in and you have the Uber advantage. You can use that to successfully have a push forwards. Instead, in this situation, where it's even Ubers, sitting in main just kind of makes a bit more sense. We are on pause now. You can see the cap. It's actually barely there at all. Completely bugged. But instead, you kind of tank your demo. Let him kind of find any kind of frags. It's KN going in for huge damage here onto the enemy. June drops down to 100 HP and has to back off at least for the moment. But Botmode is in on through top here still. This is a crit sticky. It's in onto Haunts. It actually takes him down. But Botmode has found his way in behind. This is the Mandem flank completely collapsing here.
Yeah, it doesn't manage to really get anything from that, and it actually will be the port initially out of the Dirty Maggot side. It is traded instantly by the side of the Mandem here. And Dirty Maggots actually have those pick advantages. They are 5 players up here, and Mandem already back onto their last. So it is going to be Dirty Maggots pushing into this second, and then most likely trying to find something on last. I really want them just to go for something off timing, go for something aggressive while Ubers aren't in play, and that's exactly what's happening as they're sending 2 in for this right-hand side. It's Geordie going in deep here, fading around, being that flashbang, as you've been calling him. And it finds a shot to Ryan and takes him down. Man, I'd be so mad if I'm Ryan right now and that rocket played for me.
But that's a pick as well for them to work with, so they can keep barreling forward. Botmode is hitting absolutely everything. He finds 2 as a crucial kill onto June as well. So now it's just Sticky's left on the engineer, gets taken down. The Dirty Maggots from nowhere exploded onto last. They don't need an Uber as they take themselves up 2-0. And Mandem going further and further away from that Premiership victory.
Yeah, 2-0 up now. Was that tactical pause coming out from the side of Mandem there? So obviously trying to rally out the troops a little bit, talk about what's going wrong. Honestly, the Dirty Maggots have just been playing more aggressive. They've just been trying to go off of these small pick advantages. These plays where things aren't set up and things don't feel quite right for the side of Mandem. And they are crumbling here. Will they crumble on this third mid though?
Samus has such an aggressive mid this time around. Look at the damage he's already dealt. June down quite low, and that means that Geordie's just looking to follow this up instantaneously, and Mandem just keep trying to just stave off the pressure. Botmode is the early kill, and is followed up with a kill onto Haunts as well. Geordie taking down June is just 13 HP. Everyone is in onto her, and they do successfully manage to find that kill. Juxta is alone in his own ramp room, and he will just get chased down by both scouts, and it's just going to be so hard for him to live. He unfortunately just going to have to kill bind as Zams is left alone. Can't beat the 1v2. So Balder Zoe do clean up the middle. It is a Mandem mid-fight victory with an early spawn onto June as well. This is a bit of an advantage for them to work with.
Yeah, I think this could make its way into at least a 20% advantage. And if they're counting this well and build it well, this could actually be really big. Yeah, about 20% coming out. So we'll have to see what they try to do on the Mandem. They know their back is against the wall a little bit, right? They are the team on the back foot. So you kind of would want them to try to go for something aggressive here, try to play off of this small advantage here. But for the meantime, for about the next 20 seconds, they're just going to be peeking and prodding, seeing where people are, and it's gone down to about 10% during all of this, as Juxta obviously been building it quite well. But Mandem in the driving seat finally a little bit, giving themselves an opportunity to come into this one. We'll see what sort of play they want to do. Look like they were enjoying those 2 soldiers up on the high ground before, but actually at the moment playing their hills towards this shuttered area.
Finally in a bit of a driver's seat, finally in the opponent side of the map. Fancyelf just getting tanked as he tries to go forwards. It's a lot of damage there. Actually, Botmode quite low. Fancyelf keeps hitting pipes, but he ends up getting taken down by Zams. Counter aggression though from Haunts comes in. He combines for 2. Botmode still low. He's still alive as well, however, so KN doing an amicable job of holding on to this lunchbox area. No scout able to get in. And I'm retreating for now. Neither side with a demo man. Neither side willing to keep aggressing, but look at Ryan. He's looking to send this in through top.
Yeah, making his way up. No one spotting him. Does see a soldier, so gonna try to take that fight a little bit. Thinks better of it for now, waiting for the rest of his team, being ready to send a bit of spam. And honestly, that spam from Fancy was disgusting. He did so much damage to so many players there. It was a miracle more players didn't fall during that push here. Zoe going down on the flank once again, though. Was trying to hype up Zoe before this match, saying there's someone you need to really worry about on the flank. They can be really good at finding those picks, but not able to this time. Jordy gonna trade his life, trying to go for something a little cheeky, trying to find a play, but that's one less soldier down. That's a little less spam, and it's really going to be crucial because double soldier coming up into lunchbox if they can walk up the stairs.
To walk up the stairs, they need to have a successful Uber trade here as well. Ryan looking to lead the charge instead, but however, Fancy Elf taken down by the pistol of App. He's not with a combo, so that means that App can barrel through. It's actually a kill from KN and bot mode combining onto Ryan. And this is now a hold collapsing completely from the side of MANDEM. It is an extremely low Horns who has to get bowed before he can even jump out. They lose control of second here. Fancy still running back. Will be there with his team on mid. They're looking to initiate aggression in onto the opponent. Instead, they're stuck on mid.
So minute remaining on the round timer is something we have to think about here. Obviously, with these 4-minute round timers, this can be an issue. This is why we call it 7 CP sometimes, right? Because now they have a yard hold. This is basically feels like a completely different point, a completely different ball game. And they are going to be playing ball from choke this time. It is MANDEM trying to send a little bit of spam with their demo man, trying to find something. Soldier jumps in. It's going to be an early pick onto bot mode. So that's a scout down. But they're trading their pocket scout for this. And June has to use, Joxer uses in return to save Zams here. And I don't know if they're going to get really that much from it, but they are getting huge amounts of space on mid on Dirty Maggots here.
Yeah, they're taking space on mid. They're going to take the whole point for absolutely sure. The only question is, what are MANDEM going to do about it? They're buffing up, and they're actually looking to peek in through this choke. That's the Elf sitting and looking to go for some high spawns. There's a soldier bombing in as well. So now Jordy's going to bomb forwards, but he takes so much damage from Boulder. So he's trying to go in, and this is a disgusting flank from Ryan, who finally activates. Zoe's going to follow up for 2 as well. But this is just bot mode left, and he tries to fight that follow-up shot. He does just barely get the kill onto June, but it is still a wipe on the Dirty Maggots. 3 minutes left, but them just barely lost it out to MANDEM, who break that hold. Fancy not in position to spawn camp. Round timer reset. There's only 4 minutes left of regulation.
Man, that was really close. If they hadn't got onto mid and they hadn't got that cap time, the round would have just reset there and maybe Dirty Maggots in a bit of a better position here. But they are trying to retake position as they're finding their way straight back onto second, maybe even looking to cap up this point. This is exactly what they are trying to do. Jordan just trying to edge things out slowly but surely. So they will stay in this. The silver lining to that whole scenario that happened is that June did die, right? It could have been worse. They could have been at uber disadvantage. Right now, things are looking even. So still okay for the side of the Dirty Maggots, and looks like maybe they even want to push it. They do have a small 10% advantage, and they're feeling ballsy with this 2 round advantage they do have. They want to take it all the way.
They're looking very aggressive here. They managed to steal away yard. MANDEM, who just not in position anymore. Fancy getting a bit aggressive, actually take it down, combining bot mode and Zams. One soldier in behind is Ryan. He needs to do a lot of distraction work to keep the enemy at bay. Now that he doesn't have a demo, he needs to find a successful flank. Instead, it is Boulder going in to try and get this trade, and the counter Uber is popped. But with Ryan taking down on the flank and Zams finding massive damage and choke, there's just not enough health from MANDEM to realistically try to hold on. So they're stuck on mid, and they're stuck running away. Bot mode is taken down by Zoe in on the flank. So half now is 20 for 5, and he's going to have to keep going. 21 for 5. Make that even 22 as he finds a further kill onto Fancy. Hold bombs in to alleviate the pressure. Finds 2. Onto the enemy demo man as well. It is Jordy getting bowed up, but Ryan with the high ground. Practicing MGE for precisely this moment, and does manage to find the frag onto KN. So now it's 3 dead on either side, but MANDEM with the heals. Boulder's feeling himself. He's going to keep pushing.
yeah, just really did not want to give that one up at all on MANDEM. It was looking a little diabolical at one point of them. You thought surely DM is going to take this, but high ground just taken by the MANDEM, and it proves to just be superior during all of this. So Dirty Maggots tried to make that aggressive push work, and unfortunately did not work in their favor. June coming up with that 100% Uber, Juxta on 90%, so you hope he gets it as they are taking things slow. They don't know that they are in this small deficit on the side of the MANDEM here. So trying to poke and prod, taking a leaf out of Geordie's book is Haunts trying to take some space from Z there, but not able to get much. And straight away, they're making their way into Lunchbox. They want to go to bed.
But they actually call it off pretty much instantaneously. They're actually calling it all the way. Oh, never mind. It's just Zam's getting ammo. Never mind. I got scared for a second. They're just calling off that push, choosing not to go for it. So just setting back up on second here. This is a minute 40 left around timer. About 2 minutes to work with here. MANDEM need to once again find a way to break this. They're down 2 rounds. Need 3 total to win the map. Comeback needs to start at some point. Perhaps, preferably sooner rather than later. Neither team really aggressing, to be honest. Just kind of sit and spam, poke and they prod, and no one's really found an opening either, right? You can see a little bit of flank pressure coming in from Zoe, trying to get it onto Lunchbox, but doesn't find it, so instead now it's Haunt getting tanked up and just moving straight in onto the enemy. It's a lot of damage, actually finds the kill onto Geordie. Just gets instantly traded off by Zams instead. So with him down now, Ryan, so we'll have to kind of assess the situation. Fancy so far forwards here. On to this point, and the Uber actually just popped out straight away in from June, and so that's a counter pop. It's going to come out from Juxta as well. Ryan traded out through top, and so this is Af leading the solo charge, but unfortunately, teammates not there. Stuck cleaning up the flank players successfully, though. Zoe and Ryan both down. Af now breaking in through Zed, and MANDEM nowhere near on second anymore. All the way back to mid. We just sit and we wait. MANDEM hope and they pray. It is even Ubers still, and the Maggots not choosing to push forwards. Just gonna be sitting back. It's KN holding this ramp. The soldier sack coming in from Haunts. Trying to follow up, but had his Juxta down to 60 HP. Counter aggression coming out from the other 2 soldiers, but there we go. Round resets. We go back to another mid fight here. Neither team able to fully convert. They try to send in the sacks. It doesn't work. The Maggots still now. End of regulation. Up 2 rounds. 1 more is all they need. MANDEM need 3. They need a momentum reset. They just haven't been able to find it on this final little map here. We're going back onto mid here, Steven.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can make of it here. As you said, end of regulation time. So it is just a round away for MANDEM. 3 though for the other way around for the Dirty Maggots, and 3 for MANDEM. They definitely have it in the wheelhouse. Are they chokers, or can they prove us all wrong here? As it's aggressive bombs in onto Juxta. He's going to somehow manage to live that. Haunts managing to live, comes in for a second one in onto Zams. Will find that pick, and now it's the rest of MANDEM chasing forward, trying to get anything they can. Surely they can get second here as well. Spawner's not coming up for another 12 seconds on Zams. Yeah,
there's no demo, so that means that MANDEM very far forwards in onto second. But there's actually still no demo. I'm surprised. I feel like a Witness Gaming would have actually already been in on last, trying to pressure this out, but instead that means bot mode is going to come out on the heavy, just in case someone decides to go a bit further forwards. You see MANDEM once again enacting the plan. Do not cap second until it's absolutely necessary that you do so. Want as much time as possible to try and break this enemy last hole, but there's no engineer up. It's still just this heavy. I think it's because they know and they expect that these 2 soldiers they're going to sack in.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of spamming out here, not letting Haunts get into free. He will make his way into this right-hand side, as well as the rest of this MANDEM team. So this could be an opportunity, as you said. Gun, not quite up yet. Still just going to be running that, but Af comes up on the sniper. This could be a bit deadly. It's all grouped to one side. Gets the headshot on 2. Oh, gone to 2, actually. Nice stuff coming out from Af now. And maybe he even has the opportunity to find 1 more here. Or maybe they're just going to chill out for a second here on the side of Dirty Maggots. Don't need to push. Don't need to do anything crazy here. Are going to be finally getting bot mode back on his main class.
finally back on his main. He's going to be building up a sentry gun once again. It's even Ubers. And Zoe looking towards the sniper to try and break this last hold. Need to start getting round victories here for MANDEM. They need some kind of momentum swing. Medic headshot would do just exactly that. So for the moment, he's doing some parkour on a boiler. Maybe looking to catch out this soldier that's sitting up on top. Actually backed on for the moment to get some heals, get some ammo. So he's staring at the sky for a little bit.
Yeah, we saw him do this previously when they had to play against the Ender Pulse, and it worked out great, just getting that initial pick, allowing them to kind of get things working, but doesn't seem like they've really played that angle quite as much. But actually, it's Boulder taking down Geordie, traded straight back once again by App, has been finding those headshots left, right, and center, and they're really disrespecting him here. It's Zoe trying to find the counter sniper. App going to be rotating here, but now, does this give them an opportunity? It should do with Zoe hitting that shot here, hitting another one onto Samus. He's taken down low, followed up now, and now this is the time for MANDEM. Can they strike now while the iron is hot? They're so low.
He dies, and now June has 100%. And you can see Ryan instantly tries to back off. Fortunately, just can't do it. This is now, it's Boulder running forwards for some reason. He has a full Uber advantage. That sack wave from MANDEM is absolutely huge to get them back in onto this game. Now, 100% Uber charge on June. They're going to wait for their players. Fancy's another 4-second spawner. Sentry gun being built by bot mode, and Juxta is on the emergency crits. This crits, does he even have time to build it? This is now Fancy Elf rolling out as fast as he can. Looking to set up MANDEM for another round victory. You can see Boulder getting ready for the supercharge to come in already. It is popped straight onto the gun and taken down. Fancy Elf now leads the charge forward. Point about half captains. One soldier's holding the high ground. Is shot down to very low HP. The parachute comes out. Does decent damage actually. Zoe taken down, but Fancy finds another kill. This heavy from bot mode is massive. And Juxta is going to get taken down. So is the heavy of bot mode. Fancy Elf still alive alongside this scout. But it's a 3v3 here. Both setups are even, but it's Boulder just in onto this point. He gets the setup. So much damage comes across the spawner. It's huge, but it's not enough. And MANDEM find themselves around. They need 2 more, but they slowly start inching their way back in onto this game.
Yeah, looked a lot better there. Looked like the team expects them to be just a little bit more, right? They were taking those aggressive fights. Haunts kind of came alive onto the mid and then had a really, really nice sack, and they're just kind of finding things that we expect them to find more. They're finding that pick onto Juxta in the background, and they're taking that fight slowly at the end with Boulder, getting him on point and just cleaning things up when you really should, when you have that medic advantage here. But we're back onto mid. Zam's going to be taking onto right-hand side, so don't usually see this a lot, taking this right-hand side, but it's huge damage coming out from the Norwegian.
He's just instantly losing a scout though, but look at how low June is. Geordie with a follow-up just desperately wants the frag, and she's 6 HP! Just barely dodges the fall damage, and so that means that now Haunt is in with a massive rocket onto KN as well. MANDEM somehow, someway are winning that middle. I cannot believe that June lives that.
Yeah, low like she might even die from the fall damage, but just manages to clinch on by the skin of her teeth. And now it's their time to try to go in, or it's time for a pause. Tactical pause, do we think, Juan? Potentially having to rile up the troops.
We'll have to wait and see. You know, something that I really hope we do in the near future is limit the timer on the attack pause. Because, you know, just getting to nice little chilled, like 4-minute attack pause is a bit much, I think. Maybe. I think for the sake of both teams, I hope it's attack pause. The disconnect really messes with your momentum more than anything else, but this is MANDEM in an incredibly strong position now, right? They take the mid-fight victory. The setup for the MAGGOTS is there on second, you can see, right? There's one Ryan already in onto the enemy lunchbox. The question is, can they manage to convert? Can they keep breaking this? There's one KN down, not in this fight. Use that soldier pick to their advantage. They can break that second. They could be breaking all the way in onto last. And then things start to get really scary here for the MANDEM.
Yeah, I think they minimum managed to take second off of this. I think Fancy is in also a good position. As well as that soldier you pulled out, KN still being down is a huge, huge deal. It means that there is a scout watching this up top, but just one less class to really do it. And it looks like even in the background, the rest of the team just rolling out, right? So if he manages to take down Af, they have to run it back to last. They have to give this up. There's no chance they get into second. So I think that's kind of the game plan you should have here. It's just trying to get this kill onto Aff, or at least damaging him enough that they decide, okay, we call it off, we go to last. And yeah, they've looked pretty good at trying to break that, though. Even with those headshots from Aff, a lot of space being taken from right side, taking a lot of eyes, and then bot mode getting in. It's not bot mode, sorry. Zoe getting in and doing some work there. So see if they can do a similar thing. Maybe they found their groove just a little bit here.
The momentum swing in the final hour would be absolutely crucial. And would be such a huge mental victory for them as well, right? They've been down for so long in this series. To see them sort of crawl their way back in this grueling, long, final map of this best of 3. They've been playing against this other team for so long at this point, right? To maybe have that mental resilience in the end. To maybe be the one team that doesn't buckle. Would be absolutely huge for MANDEM. This truly is a trial by fire for both of these teams to try and just stay focused for this long, right? This best of 3 has been going on for like 2.5, 3 hours at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are now very rapidly approaching midnight, right? We are getting to see the hours. These teams maybe have been up basically all day, and now, yeah, getting to the end of their concentration levels. We definitely see more mistakes happening. And yeah, I don't know, maybe Dirty Maggot's starting to make some more and coming a bit more down to raw DM. Definitely seeing that a little more during this part of the game.
I wonder, because you bring up this point, right? Like, these teams, their first official was at least for the MANDEM side, right? Like, they had to play the lower bracket final as well. They've been scrimming since about 4 p.m. Central European time, which at this point means that they've been gaming for a while.
Yeah, that's like 8 hours of gaming. That's a good amount of gaming.
Yeah, like it's been a minute since they started playing. So at this point, playing for this long to still be in it is very impressive. They have that momentum from the mid-fight victory as well. To see it roll over, be absolutely huge for them.
Who do you think we have to watch out for on this part of the game here? Who do you think can be the big difference maker?
Ryan is set up so perfectly in this camera angle, right? It all falls to this 1v1 with the bot mode, who is sat waiting for him right around the corner. He can win this, right? It sets up his team so beautifully to actually try and break this second. Stickies from Zams absolutely everywhere. So we now on pause, and Ryan's going to come in to a backing out scout. He's going to spot out the stickies, shoot them down. He has a lot of position, but ends up eating a pipe almost immediately. So now he's back in, hits a beautiful set of rockets onto Geordie. It's not enough to take that kill. So with him going down, Zoe and Haunter in up top. They managed to find 3 from somewhere. From nowhere, it is Zoe in, trying to come in onto last, and 3 up only for the Dirty Maggots here. The HUD is broken, both teams have Uber, and they're going to surge forward. It's so much damage here, in onto the enemy scout. Juxta has the pop, and June is sitting on second for absolutely free now.
Yeah, huge stuff coming out. Zoe literally just ran up top, got 2 clean 100 damage meat shots, and completely changes the tide of this round. We were calling him out at the start of this game that these are the sort of plays he can do, and he has absolutely delivered here. Full advantage here for the MANDEM as they situate themselves on this left-hand side, looking to even this out 2-2, looking to break the choker allegations.
It is a Kritzkrieg up on Juxta that might just be available in a few seconds, but he has to duck into spawn as Fancy is so far forward, and it is a disgusting pipe onto App. Zams is going to get taken down as well, and so now it is just one scout up. The Crits is not up in time. They're finding a few frags. Is bot mode, but he has to hit so many more shots. Unfortunately, he just gets cleaned up. The Crits is not in time. MANDEM are tying the game up, and in the final hours, they come through. It is 2-2 now. The Maggots, they were up and feeling so good for so long, but now the momentum squarely in the favor of MANDEM, looking to take their second Prem victory. Maggots looking to deny and take their second also, but my god, they need a reversal of fortune here. Zams has been so effective at the start of these mids, but they just haven't been able to follow it up.
See what they change. Coming into this potentially final mid here. Playing on this right-hand side, again, are the Maggots. Zam's getting a good amount of initial damage onto June. She's taken down to just 80 HP. They need to play a little more carefully. They have rotated sides here on both teams, taking the high ground. It's high bombs coming in from the Mandem soldiers. What can they find? It's a pick onto Geordie, and it's high ground taken from Ryan as well.
Yeah, KN unfortunately stuck on the low ground, so just ineffective. Zams is taken down, but look at June. She's just 20 HP. Juxta, though, is still alive and well, but is only fancy left onto this mid, as June has to just back off, run for the hills. She is so far back, and she has decided to dodge in to top onto Lunchbox. She unfortunately doesn't make the jump, but thankfully Haunts is there to clean up KN, so June is out alive. 100% Medigun of her own, but they are giving up so much for this.
Yeah, I'm surprised they decide to chase so much. I feel if you keep those players, you can maybe just completely take Yard for free as a minimum and set yourself up for those stacks. But now you have to try to make your way into Yard as well. And now with Afghan, the Pocket Scout, Mandem decide this is an opportunity to push in there, trying to play on these small advantages. And now they find a lot of spam coming their way instantly and decide, maybe not, guys, maybe this isn't the correct play. Or maybe looking to see if eyes want what. So now, Dirty Maggots are the ones to be watching, are the ones in the driver's seat, are the ones to be trying to send these sacks in. Looking like it's going to be potentially from Choke. Geordie setting himself up with Zams to try to go for something here.
Bot mode ran all the way back to his own loss to swap onto Sniper as well. So perhaps maybe looking to slow down the pace a little bit. The Dirty Maggots look for another bot mode snipe to set them up for a big victory here. He's scoped in on a wall with a soldier in on the other side. And I'll let you guys in the chat be the judge of what that means.
Here we go. We're gonna accusate him now. Just
yeah, why not? At this point, let's just start making things up.
Bot mode, prolific cheater, banned from RGL, find his way to ETF2L to look through soldiers through walls. Oh, this is an interesting one because we can tell this is probably not the pack pause. This is unfortunately just a tech pause. Right. Yeah, quick retimer there to get things going pretty quickly. But yeah, I was kind of hoping they were just going to go for something a little cheeky. But yeah, as you said, bot mode walked his way all the way back. So feeling the sniper a little bit, hasn't been able to utilize it quite yet. But stuck on engineer all of last map. So now finally wants to get on his comfort pick of sniper here. And I think it can actually work in ramp room. I think you can find a pick. If you're playing a little bit careful, but you're probably not finding the medic, so you're maybe just looking for a demo man pick to deny the spam that comes out just into choke or into ramp room as well. Can be a huge pick, and you basically just have to leave off that as the defending team. So I think that's the one bot mode has to look for, but surely just going to find a soldier before then, and that's not going to be an easy shot.
A shot in here is going to be incredibly dangerous. You can see how many projectile classes on the opposing side just playing right around where you would assume the bot mode is trying to play, right? Peek in through ramp room, use that sort of changing in elevation of that initial staircase to kind of inch forwards to try to snipe off a medic. But the second he gets called, you can see June would just be nowhere near, right? So far back. Any kind of pick for bot mode would be huge here. And it really does centralize the attention onto him as well. No one else, because of this sniper, is really ready to go in. The space he creates is so easily capitalized upon, right? He leaves a hole in a vacuum, and the fact that you're missing a scout, so he doesn't hit your shots, so easy for MANDEM to kind of recapitalize off of it.
Yeah, it's just such a tense situation, though, right? I feel like any small opening these teams now want to capitalize on. Maybe a soldier pick previously, the side of Dirty Maggots haven't wanted to really try to use, haven't really tried to want to go off now, but we're seeing them push quite aggressively. We're seeing both teams try to go off of just one pick advantages now, trying to play a bit more fast and loose, and honestly kind of working in both teams' favor here. So if they can find that initial pick, I do see them trying to go for something. We'll see what happens as we are unpaused.
Unpauses, spot mode just going to scope up. Just kind of go for this shot in through ramp room here. Gonna spot out a scout, doesn't hit the initial shot, and that means that now when he's called, Soldier's instantly backing away. A scout's going to peek this, but this is a tiny sliver of space that he has to work with. It's the only one there and available for the side of the Maggots to try and find any kind of kill. He still just tries to get the shot onto Scout, but it is Fancy with the stickies to shut him down. So now the counter-aggression might start to come in from MANDEM. It is Horns getting very far in, but he takes so much damage as he tries to aggress. Actually does manage to escape with his life intact. So for the moment, it is a 1-for-1 as Ryan is in as well. It is aggression onto Ramfru, but Jordy, massive rockets onto Zoe.
Yeah, 2 down there will send them packing on the side of MANDEM. Dirty Maggots able to take this yard area, trying to make their way onto second. With no soldier up, you maybe want to try to poke and prod and try to get this, and they are getting it for free. MANDEM giving them the respect, happy to set up on last here. Do they go for something aggressive now on the side of Dirty Maggots? Do they try to find an opening? It is Zams and Combo on this left-hand side, so trying to make a pressure play happen as it's Big Bomb in from Jordy, fading around, KN fading around as well.
Oh,
but
no.
He's found out as well, and that's 2 down for the Dirty Maggots. No soldiers, no pressure on that high ground.
Yeah, that means they have to back off. Now you're relying purely on the side of the Maggots, onto Zams, to hold onto that second point. KN is going to come up. He's going to get buffed up as well. You can start re-aggressing back in on 2 seconds. So Jordy just spawning on the spy to make sure the only off-class on the other side is that engineer that should already be spotted out from that sack. So him coming back into the fold. 2-0. MANDEM standing at the door. The opponents looking to take that Premiership victory here. They would need a sack, but look at this. They're already just aiming over towards these stickies. They're looking to set up some kind of pressure play. That, the shotgun from Jordy.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be the one taking it into. Maybe just trying to absorb any aggression that might come his way, and also really good to take down these stickies as well. Let the scout gun left side. Sentry gun down from Dams. He's in deep. KN in. Can he find the shot? Not able to right now. June finding her way into the spawn doors. But it's a valiant attempt as everyone keeps coming back in here. It's good shots from Jordy to take down Zoe, and Fancy going down during this as well. So it's a 2 for 3. I don't think MANDEM push this.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't have a demo man, so that push in onto second is so tricky. Instead, they're going to have to stay back. KN got such a deep bomb because Zams correctly spotted that sentry gun was completely unguarded. And he managed to get that down for absolutely free. Opens the door. KN, fortunately for him, unable to connect the final little air shot onto June. She stays alive. Neither team pops an Uber there. Almost a successful sack. This time around, Jordy is back. Think he's on the shotgun anymore, but you can see the pressure's just going to come in once again. It is a Sam sack forward in onto the enemy medic, already in spawn. He's going to have to settle for an engineer that he cannot hit. That is the sack over. You sack a demo man. Because a soldier's so powerful in second, you don't really have to give it up either, so you can just sit back and wait for Samus to come up. 2 minutes left for another round reset.
Not even 2 minutes now. You know June is playing so far in spawn now. You kind of want to pivot onto the sentry gun. That's exactly what they do. Jordy taking down the sentry gun is good early pressure. Going to find a soldier in the face of them now, though. Dirty Maggots. It is the bomb coming in from KN. Fading round to this side, trying to get these soldiers down from the high ground. Now it's Zams' time to shine. He's back in, but once again, June is just in spawn. They're actually losing 3 for it.
Yeah, they lose 3, and that might actually be enough to prompt MANDEM to try and push out, but no, look at them. There's a minute left on the round timer, so they are just not going anywhere. Sit back. That round reset would be a free ticket onto a mid without having to deal with the multitude. Different little hiding spots, nooks and crannies that every single one of the Maggots would be trying to hide in. Try and get some kind of back cap going. So it is still the Maggots now, 40 seconds, even Uber, and I think they're just going to be looking to take a trade in. See Sam's charging up a sticky as well as he's going to go forward. It's a lot of damage up onto the high ground. Sentry got spammed down already. Some damage dealt across as well, but Jordy's super low in up top. He's not going to be able to get in. Instead, his bot mode running forward, but it's Horns with a headshot onto Juxta. So the Uber collapses from nothing. And with 20 seconds left now, MANDEM, all they need to do is hold on. And the Dirty Maggots are just going to have to keep sending Hail Marys. They find the kill onto Horns, who hits that hero headshot. But is it enough? Because Zams is hitting absolutely everything on this pipe. It's just the boulder heavy that is enough to hold off the push. And so with 5 seconds left, the round will time out and we will go back for another mid-fight.
Yeah, such a clutch shot coming out from Horns to take down Juxta there. Just absolutely secures them this round reset. And then the heavy just so oppressive. Without Hills, there's no way you're realistically getting onto at that point then. So we do make our way once again to another mid here. And I have to say, MANDEM looking pretty decent on these last couple mids. We'll see how Dirty Maggots change things up. But to be honest, both teams kind of losing their medics a little bit here. A lot of focus going down onto them, but have to find out what happens here. Could this finally be our last mid?
Zam super low as he enters here. Has been trying to get that early damage onto the enemy combo the last few minutes, but this time instead just choosing a more vanilla route. He's getting pelted down here by MANDEM on mid. So Ryan's going to be the first to bomb straight in onto 2 scouts, and he gets taken down and dealt with by App. So with KN in the skybox, he's going to get shut down as well. It is a 1-for-1 for the moment, but Fancy is so low. But he stays alive. If Zoe finding another kill onto Aff, and Fancy with the upwards pipe onto the enemy soldier, it is not enough because Juxta has found a bow kill onto Fancy Elf. Haunt's left alive. He can't manage to make the jump out. Boulder is in instead on his own onto middle, as he's going to have to try and win this just with June on his lonesome, as the rest of MANDEM now are going to be respawning and watching the Maggots cap up this second once again. But it is even Ubers for both sides.
What a war of attrition that was. I mean, Fancy was alive for so long during that. Juxta had to bow him to keep himself alive as he basically somehow flanked all the way through that right-hand side, and then some good bows to keep Zams alive as well during that. Just kept Dirty Maggots in that fight. Early Soldiers doing a lot on both teams, though. And now, once again, Dirty Maggots, the ones trying to push into this yard area, is going to be even Uber's. Not an easy push either way, but it's a fast bomb in onto June by Jordy. He's been going so aggressive.
Fortunately for him, June completely unscathed in the end. Takes about 50 damage. Really going to be slowly regenerating back to 100% HP. So, for the moment, about a minute has passed since the Maggots have taken control of the midpoint. It's another skip jump in from KN. Dealt with by stickies from Fancy. Gets taken down, and this sort of slow pelting of just soldier stack after soldier stack. It has to start weighing on you if you're a MANDEM, right? And the single soldier pick is not enough to really push off of. This time around, though, it's already kind of failing the jump, so that means that Ryan can find the kill. And now, without soldiers at all, Maggots are back on mid.
Yeah, there's just no pushing forward while this soldier down, right? You just have to kind of wait. I will say I'm quite surprised how deep they've been managing to get in and getting close to June. I think this can work if you roll this enough times. I don't think this is an impossible challenge that they're doing. They are just going to be sticking on these soldiers for now, so obviously feeling somewhat confident to try to go for something once more here. Maybe they just send a double, maybe they change something up, or maybe Jordy just sends it again. We'll have to see as they are just kind of buffing everyone up, maybe looking for a bit more spam, a little more distraction before they do go for anything.
So Jordy
jumping in.
Finds a soldier though. But just completely body blocked there by the soldiers. He got going. Oh no, Juxta actually just pops the Uber. We're going to go for a trade in onto Yard. So Rap is going to try to make as many people flash as possible, and it is another couple players to get flashed. The Uber is end on both sides, but it is ultimately the Maggots taking control of second. No damage really done, so unfortunately for them, MANDEM still just in on second. Going to be holding on to that. But can the bus come any further here? Jordy is very far forwards. He's some damage onto a soldier, but he's now up in Zed. It is Zams with a great angle into the opponents, and MANDEM are so low on second.
Yeah, it was really good that they're keeping the bus going. They are keeping moving, trying to keep this momentum, this pressure up onto MANDEM, trying to make something happen, even at these times where Ubers are not quite up. Really shows that they're just trying to fight tooth and nail for something to happen. Coming up on 90% Uber for June, should be getting it any second now. So definitely an opportunity to force out from her as they're just pelting spam over this fight. And they back out on MANDEM.
Sams is farming up a log. It's a kill to Ryan, and look at them. They have to retreat. They're all the way in spawn. Zoe now, emergency sniper, needs to find a shot, as actually the Maggots are just aggressing forwards, but it's only 50 damage onto his scout. And so look at how forwards they are. It is Fancy already taken down. Haunt hasn't hit the solo. And with a couple kills found, it might be good enough to hold on for now. But there is no demo. There's no stickies on the point. Aff is there alone, and the soldier has to bomb in and do it. All Juxta goes forwards. He tries to get the round cap, and unfortunately for bot mode, it's not enough. There's Aff left alone, and he wins the 1v4. And the Maggots, somehow, someway, finally, they take the Premiership victory.
What an upset that was. MANDEM, top of our table, by far the favorites of this season, will fall in that grand finals. They are not beating the choking accusations in this one. However, I have to say, for how close that was, wow, you should be excited for Poland. You should be excited to see these teams playing offline because they will be playing a different caliber of gaming. It should be a crazy one. Exclamation mark Poland to help us with that. Help donate. Had to do the little plug here. But wow, what a close game. And yeah, Dirty Maggots really just starting to play it fast and loose there. And it's really working out for them.
Yeah, what a glow up from the Dirty Maggots to come in. I don't think there was anyone expecting them to win this Prem series, even take the upper bracket finals win, but then doing it again here on Granary. That was such a long game there. But it's Af at the top of the kill feed as well. Such a huge performance from him. Commiserations to MANDEM. They really tried so hard, but in the final moments, just end up falling. That is a spanner in the works for Poland if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that really changes up those power rankings a little bit. I feel like people disrespecting the Dirty Maggots, maybe thinking they're not quite as good, obviously, in that group against Witness, I believe. Maybe going to give them a bit more of a hard time. We were looking at some logs of the pre-game scrim, and they were beating Witness, were Dirty Maggots. So if they can continue this momentum till next weekend, I think they're a much bigger force to be reckoned with than people have been giving them credit for.
Yeah, very, very strong. Looking super good for LAN now. This is exactly when you want the power spike. As, oh my god. Looking mighty solid coming in onto LAN. Obviously, many more teams to show up to Poland in a week and a half. But once again, congratulations, Dirty Maggots, coming out for that Premiership victory. Really playing their hearts out, showing that they have an iron mental after those long games that they've been playing all weekend.
Winning their second Premiership title now as well. It's got to feel good. I think some of the changes they've made looking very, very positive as well. And honestly, looking like a strong team. Some people doubting, cough them all cough, that they were not the best version of themselves that they were previously. But maybe trying to show a little differently, because I think no one says that MANDEM roster is maybe weaker than they were in the past. I think probably still the strongest, but Dirty Maggots finding their way to that victory. And yeah, very, very well played there. An insanely close series the whole way. Couldn't have made it any closer if they tried, and some real good storylines coming out as well. So, fantastic game.
Super impressed. It is very, very nice to see. I'm not gonna lie, Steven. I feel like we've talked for so long. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do with myself. It's midnight. Tomorrow's a work day.
I think we just sign off here.
Yeah.
GG's to both teams. Keep tuned, because we have some great stuff coming up next weekend in Poland at LAN. Should be amazing stuff. So if you're not following already, follow from that. But any final thoughts from you, Juan, before we close off?
I think we need an emergency meeting and maybe have a talk about whether or not we need to have a parachute in Poland. I'll just spread that idea out there. It's not too late. But, yeah. With that in mind, I think we are all feeling a bit tired. We will, of course, be back in just about 4 days on Friday next week, coming at you live from Łódź in Poland. Base stack in Łódź for an action-packed weekend of TF2. We have MANDEM, we have Dirty Maggots, we have Witness Gaming, we've even got American team on the other side. So with that in mind, we are all gonna go to bed. It's very late. See you guys on Friday next week. Have a great one. Peace and love. Good night.